bailiff or whatever?
I don't know if it'll be changed around here.
Oh, really?
This place hasn't been, transferred in a while.
Oh, yeah, our stuff doesn't even degrade. Okay. I'll see you later. Corruption.
I'm ready to win today, Labar. I'm ready to win.
All right, we'll see.
Don't think the cops have a case, so we will see.
Yeah, I read the police reports. Yikes.
Mr. Buddha, good to see you.
Hey, Ben, good to see you. I'm ready, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. All right, let's
a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see you in there in a few minutes, Your Honor. Let's step over.
Let me just throw this shit away real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh my god, it's not even the control and oh my god, things don't even degrade. Does anyone have a clip of Chang driving his car around? I want to see how he customized it. I really want to see how it looks with like red and shit on it.
Here and speak quietly. All right. So the only first and foremost, Mr. Buddha, this is Nick Grayson. He's going to be co-counsel for me on this, so that I don't have to pay attention to all of the ridiculous objections and such things. He can help fill in the cracks while I'm painting the bigger picture.
All right.
So he's going to kind of be my eyes and ears on this one. So strategy-wise, I'm going to be calling Officer Ripley first, get him on the stand, and basically grill the fuck out of him about how this was. Let's be honest, this was basically an attempted murder charge. He just didn't actually catch the criminal time for it.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to put Rhodes on the stand. From what I've heard of Rhodes, Rhodes is supposed to be the goody two-shoes cop, so hopefully we can get him to talk a little bit about how horrified he was about the things that Ripley was doing and or saying.
You're a new lawyer, right?
Relatively new.
The cops lie on the stand and cover for each other all the time. So that's not gonna work, but we can try.
Well, his report will help a lot with that. I don't know if you've looked at the criminal report, but he specifically verbatim in there says that he thought that Ripley was a danger to himself and others, and that this behavior was uncharacteristic and things like that. So we can start throwing his own words at him if we've got to do that.
Okay. I got the clip.
There's a reason the DA wanted to settle this one quickly. The only sticking point on our end is they appear to be associating you with, it looks like Ripley was kidnapped and tortured.
There's literally no proof of that.
Well, and that's what I'm going to go with. But you need to be advised that they are going to ask you questions about that.
Do I deny it? Or do I plead the fifth?
That is completely up to you. Pleading the fifth, in my opinion, looks worse. I can't tell you to lie on the stand. I have to advise you to tell the truth. But if you did not do this, then deny away.
Now, assuming they had proof that I did, that would throw the whole case out if I lied, right?
I don't know if it would throw the whole case out, because even if you kidnapped and tortured this guy, then you were shackled, you were confined to a hospital bed, you were incapacitated, and then he crossed over a room and tried to stab you. So I don't think it throws the whole case out, but it definitely lowers the numbers a lot.
Now, in terms of numbers, what do you think?
The highest I have ever seen on the court docket is $350,000. That being said, I have also never heard of a case where a officer ripped a knife out of his vest or wherever he was stashing that thing and then tried to intentionally stab someone. We might go higher than 350, we might be lower.
I can't walk normally anymore, motherfucker.
Well, and that's the reason I'm calling the doctor last.
I can't drink. I can barely smoke. Only in times when my adrenaline is high, I can smoke a little bit. My life is completely different now, man. It's fucked up, you know?
And that's the reason I'm putting the doctor on last, because the doctor in the medical report says that you have a 50% chance of re-injury to the left hamstring. He's going to be able to medically paint a pretty good picture for us, in my opinion. So we put you on there. What I want you doing is not necessarily exaggerating, but be honest about your injuries. I'm going to be asking you questions about how this has impacted your life. I'm going to be asking you. Here, let me flip to the next page. So yeah, I'm going to be asking you what injuries you suffered, how this impacted your life, how it's affected your mental well-being, how it's affected your attitude towards the LSPD. And one other thing to think about is I'm also going to be asking you about employment. You and I haven't had a lot of a chance to discuss this, but yeah, I want you basically, for lack of a better term, crying about how you can't go to work anymore, because that's going to go a long way.
Yeah, ever since I've been injured, I can't do my janitorial services. You know, I had to get a job as a delivery driver at a taco shop, man. Because I can barely walk, you know, I can only drive around and deliver shit now, man.
Same.
And that is exactly what I want the judge to hear.
Same.
And, you know, insofar as your attitude towards the LSPD, I know you guys didn't exactly have the best working relationship before. You know, I've seen your record. But, you know, just say what's honest. Like, you know, I know you're not the type of person who's going to say that you're afraid of the LSPD, but, you know,
I've been
figure
afraid.
something out.
I'm definitely
Yeah, there
afraid
you go.
now.
There you go.
One
And that's
of
what we
their
wanna
own just
hear.
tried to kill me in the hospital, man, while the rest just fucking watched. You know?
And that's actually something I'm going to be addressing with Rhodes, as well as I'm going to be asking him why he and it was 3 other officers who were there, to my understanding, why they basically allowed him to. If he had stabbed you once, okay, sure, maybe they couldn't get a tase off, but 3 or 4 times, that's, you know, why didn't they interject sooner?
Yeah, I mean, he had enough time to stab me 3 times.
And the big one for Rhodes for me is
Right before.
if Ripley was allegedly taken and kidnapped and tortured and whatever else, then what the fuck was that guy still doing on duty? That's the big question for me from Rhodes. So,
Ooh, that is a good question.
yeah.
I like you, man.
Yeah, and it's literally my job, Mr. Buddha. We're gonna do the best we can to get you a big payday out of this, but so whenever they start questioning you about this prior incident with Ripley, what is your response going to be?
In terms of, like, what questioning? What do you mean?
So if they, you know, for instance, if I'm the district attorney and I say, Mr. Buddha, did you kidnap Officer Ripley
No, I didn't.
approximately 1 to
Here's
2
the
hours
truth.
before this event?
Here's the truth.
Okay.
2 of these guys that I knew who were dumb as fuck kidnapped him. Okay? And I was on the radio when it happened, but I wasn't there physically. And then they were gonna try to do some dumb shit to exchange his life for somebody else, somebody else's, but I knew it wasn't going to work. So I told them to give it to me and Eugene. At that point, Eugene put him in my car. We drove somewhere, and Eugene took him out and brought him down in front of a hospital and gunned him down. I literally had no part in it. I'm obviously not going to say that because I'm not going to snitch on my boy. But in reality, I didn't shoot, I didn't stab, I didn't do nothing to that motherfucker. If anything, I just drove a car around.
All right. Well, then my advice is going to be listen very carefully to the questions the DA is asking, because you know they have to ask you very directed questions. So it's going to be things like, did you kidnap, or were you involved in the kidnapping, or did you torture, or were you involved in the torture? The answer to those questions, by the sound of it, is just no, which means that you can get away with telling the truth just by answering their very pointed questions.
Now, I may have yelled. I think I said, "No balls, do it, pussy." When Ripley said he was going to stab me.
Yeah, I don't think that matters in the slightest. To be honest, I don't think it matters at all. If you
And I did say I would do it.
well, that was just a promise. We're here now, right? So, I mean, go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Also, when the DA is questioning you, make sure you give a lot. You know, you wait a little bit before you answer, because we will be especially looking for objections.
Okay, I'll give like 3 seconds in my head and then I answer.
That'll work.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't think that statement's going to really have any impact on anything. You know, I could tell you right now to shoot me in the head, but that doesn't really give you authorization to
true.
murder me.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
So I don't think that taunt's gonna make any difference whatsoever. If they ask about that, then just be honest and maybe add in there that you did not expect him to actually follow through with that, because what reasonable police officer would do that?
I know, right? You know, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure he's back on duty right now. Wasn't he just like, you know, in a sane asylum?
Yeah, the records we have say that he was 5150'd. We don't have his medical record, so I don't know when he was released or why.
Now, what happens if they plead insanity? Would he lose?
It's not a criminal proceeding, it's a civil proceeding, and we're suing the LSPD, so at the end of the day, they're still responsible for his conduct.
Double boom. I fucking love you, man. I want you to be my lawyer for every court case I ever have in this fucking city, please. I'm tired of dog shit lawyers, man.
As long as you still feel that way whenever we're done here today, then yeah, I see no issue with that, Mr.
All right, let's fucking win this shit. I wish I could smoke a cigarette, but I can't. Is that good?
That is perfect. That is perfect.
All right, I'm fucking ready. Excited.
I'm ready too. I've got a couple of pages of things that we've drafted up. I sent it over to Nick. I think we've got this one in the bag. But
so Ben and Mick. Cool. We need, like I said, man, the city is really in good need of lawyers who fight the good fight, man. We ran out of all of them, and I heard, you know, rest in peace, Ginzu. But that was the last one, man. So it's good to have you guys, man. I appreciate you guys doing this for me.
No problem at all. I was excited whenever Ginzu asked me if I wanted to co-counsel on this, and I'm kind of glad that I did, considering.
Now he's dead, and he take his throne, man. Boom.
Yeah, I'm still trying to prod the DA's office and the police into actually investigating his murder, but it doesn't seem like they've found a goddamn thing. So unfortunately,
isn't it a bit weird that he goes missing when we're fighting against the cops? You think the cops did it? What if it was Ripley, man?
Officer. I think at that time, wouldn't Ripley have still been in Parsons?
What if he knew a guy in there? He's a cop, right? With connections. Maybe they let him out for an hour, you know? Perfect alibi. He's in the fucking insane asylum, you know? Boom, boom, boom. Motherfucker dead. Boom, boom. He's back in there.
I mean, I don't have any proof for it or against it, so I'm not going to toss it out the window until I get an actual autopsy report. But
please let me know what happened to him, all right? I would love to know.
As soon as I hear something, I'll let you and Copperpot and a few other people know.
Now, I'm going to go compliment the bar, so he's on my side when this thing starts.
Sounds perfect. Need to jump.
Well, I hope Henry comes around for it. I'd like to see how he handles it.
Hey, the bar. Good to see you, man. You're my judge today.
I am.
Well, you look lovely today, man. I wish you'd take off that mask and show off your beautiful face to the world. We deserve to see it.
Sorry. You don't want me to.
You can cough on me all you want, man. Turns me on.
Well, all right then, Buddha.
He always tries to butter me up.
Oh, dude, RP is so much fun, dude. It's so funny that like this is happening. Like I'm going to a court case in a fucking game, dude. Like what the fuck? What the fuck is that shooting? You came!
Yes, I did, Lang. I've been waiting for you.
Ah, my fucking boy, man. Thank you for coming, man.
Absolutely, I got your back. Oh, what the fuck?
sorry. I love you. You should see my new car. It's beautiful.
Heard about that. Everybody got a new car. Nice, man.
Yeah,
Congrats to
yeah.
everybody. Wise guy. I mean, Eddie is a great fucking, craftsman when it comes to cars.
I can't wait to get
He's very talented.
a custom kit from him on it. You know, it's gonna look sick.
Ooh, a wide body kit.
Yeah, I want to get a nice wide body on it, man. Make it look like a fucking, I don't know, something crazy. Listen, thank you for coming, man.
Absolutely, it's a big trial.
You're drinking tomorrow, man. Drink tomorrow. Huh? Grab some beer or something.
No, I'm actually drinking wine right now.
Come on, man. Can we drink tomorrow instead together?
Yeah. I'll be around. I'm down for it.
All right, grab some
about,
claws, man.
About a big case of White Claw, variety pack, watermelon, mango, lemon, and tangerine.
You're such a woman, man. I love it. I'm gonna grab some beer.
Sounds good.
But thank you for coming, motherfucker. I'm happy you're here. You look good, by the way.
Thank you.
Don't stroke his ego too much, Buddha. Come on.
We're actually going to be on the right side today, guys, because we're
because we're the right
one.
ones and then the wrong ones,
That's-
man.
Yeah, there you go. That's the reasoning.
Yep, you can go ahead and step right in between.
Excuse me, I don't know if I can stand for long periods of time because of my leg, you know.
Oh, hold on. Well, you were standing a long period of time earlier today, weren't you?
I was, but I was all hyped up on, you know, some drugs, you know.
Yeah. I got you.
That suit looks good on you, Buddha.
Thank you, Archer. I'll suck your dick later, man.
All right, fine. High five me when you do it too.
All right, all right.
Just don't make eye contact, because then that makes it, you know.
All right, guys. Dude, I have full faith in this lawyer. Absolutely full faith in this lawyer, chat. I mean, I don't think what
Rhodes, you're
let's
broken.
think about it for a second.
Wait,
what
what did I
actual
do?
argument
You
can
fucking-
get the cops to
you
win
broke
this?
it.
I
Oh,
don't think they
goddamn.
literally
What
have
did I do?
anything. Literally nothing.
You broke it.
I didn't do anything.
Like not even the not even the slightest little thing.
How do you
Like
get that,
literally
by the way?
nothing.
How do I get what?
That taser duty belt, I haven't been able to find it.
It's find it exactly where that one is.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Uh-huh.
I've used the same fucking one for literally over a fucking like 14, I don't even know, like 16 months.
Got 2 of those ones. They're really cool. I like them.
Mm-hmm. And
Your
they've got the
your-
taser in 2 colors.
Your pants.
Good to see you, Rhodes. Let's see what kind of man you are today. Hmm?
What do you mean what kind of man I am today?
We'll see you. Are you going to be honest, man?
Of course I
Or are
am.
you going to be dishonest,
job.
man?
Oh.
If you think I would ever perjure myself, you're crazy.
Nice red glasses, man.
So,
Oh, thanks. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I always wear these.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the yellow stripes are cool looking.
Well, I like this green better.
You do, really?
Yeah, I also think it's more in line with the color of our cars.
I don't know about that one.
I agree with Rhodes here. You see our formal gear? You can't wear the stripe. Doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's also true.
He's an attorney IRL. I know, dude.
Class
We're
B
gonna fucking
formals
have a
fucking
good
match the pants
case.
I'm wearing.
I
I've
hope
seen
the
them.
cops propose like a good argument though, so at least it's kind of like a back and forth good case. But I really hope it's not too long either and like drawn out.
Well,
I'm
what
excited,
jacket
man.
is it?
I am excited.
Let's fucking find out.
Oh, also Ben, you already have the next great case on your hands.
I just don't want to go through 400 fucking jackets.
All right, well, we
All
can
right,
talk
Archer,
about that one
wrong side.
right after this if you'd like.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
put
right.
you in contact with my boy Eugene.
All right, sounds
Got
good.
put
sounds
down
good.
by a cop while just sitting in his car doing nothing.
I don't know. When I first showed Tribble these pants,
Is this
January
Mr. Eugene is
2019,
in the former
I was
mayor?
like, fuck yeah, so I've never fucking
Yes.
switched them, you know?
All right, all right. Yeah, put me in contact with him.
All right.
I think he's gonna show up here, so after the court case, you guys can talk. I'll introduce you.
Sergeant squad over here.
Oh my God, chat. Now give me some realistic numbers. What do you guys think we're gonna make?
The fuck is that?
So sorry if I'm late. Apologies. if
Since
I'm
the
late.
most was he said the most was 350K. I could see 350, 400, maybe even 500,000. Then maybe I don't know. It really depends on how Labar's feeling.
I said apologies if I'm late.
Oh, okay. All right.
Who is that?
Or DOC.
Why is he wearing a sheriff's office jacket?
I think that's the corrections jacket.
Really?
Yeah.
It was what we were told to put on as a uniform. And he
A
said
police
it's on
officer?
the.
Oh yeah, it is. Holy shit.
Should be a
That's our corrections officer.
jacket, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
What does this guy
Well,
sound like?
CEOs are usually county based anyway, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Bailiffs are usually county only either, but is what it is. Does his duty belt have a flashlight on it? It does. Yeah, I gotta switch to that one. I've had this one for too long. It's getting old. Buttons don't snap too good no more.
Yeah, I feel you. Plus, there's
My keys don't jiggle either, so.
Yeah, we're suing for 10 mil, but
Okay.
we're obviously not gonna get anywhere near that. We're probably gonna get like, probably like 300K or something, which is still a fuck ton of money.
Why the fuck would he ask something like that?
Be advised, we're in the courtroom.
he tried. He tried. Damn it, Ripley.
No, nothing breaks here. This is old. Really?
Yeah, they should.
Oh. Oh, it's that. Oh, I don't miss this at all. Jesus.
Hello, Mr. Splainer. I got a belly full of spaghetti and meatball.
I'll give it a few more minutes before I call court into session.
Mr. Splainer's on all.
You're going down, Ripley.
What was
Justice
that? Oh,
will
you
be
want your
served.
stuff?
Yes, it will. I have no doubt of that.
I'm surprised you're back on duty so quick after spending a few days in an insane asylum.
14 days of my life, Mr. Buddha.
You almost took somebody's life, Ripley.
I wonder what that's like.
Like you guys do every day?
14 days.
I have no
wonder
idea what you're talking about. Check my record.
The greatest vengeance is to not be like those who wronged you.
I did. You just got arrested.
I kill for a reason.
Yeah, so do we. It's called upholding the law.
The law when somebody's handcuffed to a bed, nearly unconscious. Okay.
But you got a record as long as a fucking CVS receipt.
Oh, using my past against me. See how judgmental you are. You are what's wrong with the world.
I'm more worried about the interchange fucking garbage can, to be honest with you.
Eddie, what are you wearing?
Yeah. A hoodie.
What the fuck? You're coming to a high school fucking dinner. It's a court case.
Hey, thanks for last night. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be back.
Hurry up. Hey, no disgusting pigs on my side. Get over there.
Listen. What? You got a problem?
I'm gonna push you, Frank.
Fuck. Okay, that's fucked up.
That is fucked up. Why would you treat Frank that way?
Yeah, you know. I used to love you, Sab.
I
Why would
can't
Sab
use
do
my past
this?
against me, right?
He's
Why did-
changed, Frank. He's changed.
Yeah. Sab is
Ben.
really the epitome of everything that happens that's wrong.
Can they use like my past against me?
Wow. Oh, Frank.
Goddamn.
I'm a little more concerned with him using your intermittent crimes against you. So you're gonna have to.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yep.
So the crimes you've committed between this incident and now, I might use that to
But I can't go to work.
lower.
I have to try to a life of crime.
He's driving 300 miles an hour. Sad.
Well, then we'll go with that along with your excuse of being high on opiates and other such things. Prescribed, obviously, for your injuries.
What's my fucking boy, man? What's going on, motherfucker? You look good as fuck.
Tony
Look at a mafia
I'm
boss right
chasing
now.
them right now.
Tony, you're literally about to spend 3 years in prison, man. Calm down.
Microphone Shank. 1, 2.
Wait, who's gonna spend 3 years in prison? What the fuck?
Okay, that was right.
Damn, Copper, you look pretty tall today.
It's the heel.
Hey.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
That one
I mean,
don't
but
sound
look,
good.
look
Hey,
how
Ben, brother.
look how stupid.
Where
Come
are
on,
you?
look how sick this outfit
Good.
is.
Recovering.
He's not sick, bitch. Get to the side of the cops, man. This side for my
Fucked up
family
for a
only.
week there, bad.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to this.
Well, this side's for my family only, so get over there. And Sab can simp all over you over there.
I'm not simping. What the fuck?
Is that Gage next to you?
Fucking what a crybaby.
Yeah, let me see this one. Let me see. Excuse me. I gotta
Why
test
fucking
you.
get over here?
They all barely fit in there.
Microphone Shank. Yep, sounds good.
I got a guy that's
Oh, God. Oh,
Oh, the
God.
microphones, they're fine. They're fine. They're fine. These are
Don't
good. They're
touch
fine.
me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a big 10-2 on the microphone.
A lot of people are about to be pissed. There's no cops on the other server.
What?
Yo, Racing, they were the 5 gifted subs, baby. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, I may or may not have a shotgun on my Hakachu. Just say the word, alright?
Alright. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that's it's not going to be necessary. Not like anybody's looking at jail time here.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Hey, if they ask me about any crimes I've committed since then, should I just plead the 5th? Or should I respond?
You technically can't plead the 5th if you've already pled guilty on them. It's already part of your record at that point.
Reformed. Okay.
Yep, done your time, reformed, had to turn to crime because of
All right, we have everybody here.
Yep, monetary purposes.
I'm here, Your Honor.
We hear you good, Your Honor.
Plaintiff, you got everybody?
Do we have Dr. Howser?
Yes, I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. Yes, Your Honor, I believe we do have everybody.
Okay. Defense, you got everybody?
Believe so, Your Honor.
Hey, Doctor, good to see you.
All right, I'll go ahead and call this court into session at this time. Before I get started, I will ask that everybody act civil and act according to court. If the attorneys are questioning people, please, if you need to talk to somebody, please step outside and speak to them. Don't whisper, don't do anything, because they need to hear the lines of questioning that are going on, and I don't want any disruption in the courtroom. Does everyone understand that?
Ooh, I don't know. I've never.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Oof.
Make
Where
way,
can
there's
you
a
put
man
me
in a
away?
wheelchair. Hang on.
Where can you put me where I can see?
He's wheeling. Oh my god. I put WD-40 on the wheels before we start this,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Eugene,
All right,
what
I'm
happened to you?
Just gonna put you right there.
That's your next client there, Ben.
Jesus
Eugene,
Christ.
I've
Don't make
already
it
gone
nice.
over the rules of the court. You know them.
Okay.
Hey, Snow.
Is that okay? Dennis is disabled access, sir. Is that all
I
right?
mean, did you have to bring him in?
What? Here for my boys.
Equality, equal rights, sir.
Hey, that's my grandpa. I want him here.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm in a wheelchair.
Okay, Eugene. You need any assistance or anything? You need someone to stand next to you? You gonna drool all over yourself or anything like that?
Oh my god.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. You have your pudding?
No, I didn't have my damn pudding.
Can someone get him some pudding before we start?
Someone give me some
Vending machine?
fucking pudding.
Something.
Frank, get him some fucking pudding.
Hey, Ripley,
I
go
got
get
it,
some pudding.
I
You're
got
not
it,
even
I got it.
copying
Give
me,
me a
you
sec.
piece of shit.
Oh,
I was gonna say that definitely sounds like a bailiff job.
Waiting for
What are they,
Eugene to
fucking
get his
servers
pudding,
now?
then we'll start. 2 minutes.
Here we go, boys. We need like some fucking court music,
Henry.
dude.
What? What?
When you're doing bailiff duty, you're in uniform, not in a fucking suit.
I-
What
he
the
doesn't
fuck
have
are you
it.
doing?
I don't have it.
He
Damn
doesn't
it!
have it.
All right.
Okay. Okay. You want to come do it?
He got
No,
stripped
you're
of
fine.
his
I want to.
uniform.
I want to watch you. I want to watch you do it.
That's kind of creepy.
Give me that pudding.
Like the FBI is up there.
Yes, I'm gonna stand on this side.
Give.
Yeah. What pretend he's
Give.
up
Yeah, here you go.
Give.
Why can't you stand?
Hey, Rhodes. I need your opinion. Saying something.
You made me move. Now I'm blocking you.
All right. Court's now in session. This is Lang Buddha versus Officer Jack Ripley. Statement of claim. I will go over this. On March 18th, 2020, Lang Buddha was incapacitated and apprehended by officers and deputies of the San Andreas State Police and Blaine County Sheriff's Office. Mr. Buddha was handcuffed, transported to the Pillbox Hospital, where he was admitted for treatment. At this time, Senior Officer Jack Ripley approached Mr. Buddha, who was
I turned him
handcuffed
up.
to the infirmary bed, and on information and belief, stabbed him approximately 3 times by Ripley, 1 to 2 times in the abdomen area, and 1 time in the leg prior to treatment for his prior injuries. The plaintiff contends that Senior Officer Jack Ripley, a uniformed police officer, acted intentionally, maliciously when he assaulted Lang Buddha with the intent to kill him. This attack has caused the plaintiff permanent physical and psychological damage, including but not limited to damages to his lungs, liver, leg. Plaintiff Buddha continues to suffer from physical and mental ailment, which are being treated by the staff of the Pillbox Medical Center due to the injuries arising out of this incident. For compensant, let's see, we've got compensatory damages. Excuse me, I haven't had my medication today. It says we will amend. It was never amended. General damages will amend. I don't see an amendment there. Punitive damages
Music
is
off.
for $100 million. Can everyone hear me?
Oh.
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Loud and
Okay,
clear.
everybody else is way too loud.
Okay.
Holy
Barely,
shit.
barely. You
Okay.
sound weak.
Excuse me?
Copper was talking to Snow, saying he looks weak.
I will walk
That
out
was
of
very
this room
rude.
right now. And y'all can have a good day, okay?
I'll send you something, Dennis, all right?
All right. The representatives for
Yeah, I turned him up.
plaintiff is one Benjamin Crane. Representative for the defendant is going to be Mr. Splainer. Are both sides prepared to give their opening?
I just
Yes,
have
Your
one
Honor.
thing to say. Your Honor, you look beautiful today.
You've told me that numerous times. Thank you.
Plaintiff's ready, Your Honor. We would additionally add Nick Grayson to our list of counsel, considering the unfortunate passing of Mr. Okada.
All right, I will allow that and accept that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, plaintiff, you may begin with your opening.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor, and may it please the court. Tonight, this court will hear
I'm actually
a
scared we're
less
gonna
than
lose.
typical case against the Los Santos Police Department. We've heard many cases of negligence arising out of the department, perhaps bordering on recklessness. Tonight, however, this court will receive evidence and testimony of the intentional actions of Officer Jack Ripley, a uniformed police officer who withdrew a knife and proceeded to stab a man who was incapacitated and shackled hand and foot. Actions which, under different circumstances and perhaps a different case heading, would likely be a criminal charge for attempted murder. Testimony will show that Mr. Buddha, in an otherwise defenseless position at the time, was stabbed 3 to 4 times by Officer Ripley when Officer Ripley was finally stopped by other police officers in the room. Tonight, the court will hear personal and expert testimony about how these actions have severely impacted the life of Lang Buddha and the long-term health implications therefrom, including, but not limited to, damages to his lung, liver, and his left hamstring. Simply put, this is a far cry from the typical case against the LSPD, or even Officer Jack Ripley himself. This is not mistake. This is not misused discretion. This is not a case of negotiations which went wrong. This is a case of an intentional decision made by a trained, uniformed police officer who set his mind on attempting to murder the plaintiff and nearly accomplished exactly that before he was subdued by fellow officers. Accordingly, the plaintiff will request that this court find against the defendant and award the plaintiff a sum for pain and suffering, medical expenses past and future, lost income past and future, as well as assess punitive damages against the defendants in amounts more than $1 million. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Splainer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, people of the court, there can be no question that March 18th was a terrible day, and the plaintiff would have you believe that his story is the only one to tell from that day. On behalf of Jack Ripley and the Los Santos Police Department, I am here today to explain the full scope of the situation, what led up to the event within the statement of claim, that Jack Ripley carried out no action of premeditation, malice, or intent of his own, as the ridiculously stated amount of punitive damages would have this court believe. The plaintiff has already alleged that he is due general and compensatory damages for pain and suffering, yet has failed to define them. And the district attorney's office will ask that this court today find no damages to the plaintiff due to the situation at hand. Thank you, Your Honor.
What?
Bullshit.
No damages?
Whoever said bullshit, you do it again, I'll throw you out of court myself. All right, Mr. Crane, are you prepared to call your first witness?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed, sir.
The plaintiff would call Officer Jack Ripley to the stand.
All right. Mr. Ripley, will you please approach bailiff swearing the witness?
I don't know if I should lie about assisting in kidnapping him or not, dude. I'm fucking worried, man. I'm getting anxious. I think we're gonna lose.
Left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, under penalty of perjury? So help you coil.
I do.
Your Honor, he has been sworn in.
All right, Mr. Crane, you may proceed with your first line of questioning for this witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right. First and foremost, I think we all know, but will you please state your full name for the record?
My name is Jack Ripley.
All right. And Mr. Ripley, what is your occupation?
I'm currently a law enforcement officer, currently employed by the Los Santos Police Department.
And what is your rank within that department?
My rank at this time is senior officer.
All right. And as part of your training and experience as a senior officer, would you consider yourself proficient in hand-to-hand combat?
I would, sir. I am proficient in hand-to-hand combat techniques and all manner of self-defense techniques.
All right. What about offensive forms of techniques?
Can you be more specific, sir? What do you mean?
So, I mean, for instance, hand-to-hand techniques including subduing a criminal with a baton.
Yes, if you would consider the use of a baton an offensive maneuver, then yes, I and other law enforcement officers are trained to use such instruments to subdue or sometimes incapacitate or neutralize threats.
All right. And Officer Ripley, prior to the incident underlying this case, have you received prior punishment, formal or informal, for incorrect use of force?
For incorrect use of force? No, I have not, sir.
Or a misapplication? I'm not really familiar with what the term would be internally, but essentially excessive force, I suppose it would be.
Excessive force? No, I have never been found guilty of excessive force.
All right, well, that's not the question I asked, Officer Ripley. I asked if you've ever been punished internally for it. I'm not asking if you've been found guilty by a court.
I have not been punished internally for. What do you mean in relation to this hospital situation, or do you mean up to this point?
Up to this point, Officer Ripley.
Up to and including this point, I have not been punished or suspended or internally punished in any way for use of excessive force, sir.
All right. And have you ever been criminally convicted or pled guilty to a offense, felony, or misdemeanor?
I've never been convicted or pled guilty to a felony or misdemeanor, sir.
All right. And on or about March 18th, 2020, were you at Pillbox Medical Center?
Was I at there? Yeah, I was at Pillbox Medical Center.
All right. And what were you wearing at the time?
I was wearing my Los Santos Police Department standard issue patrol uniform, sir.
All right. And so any individual who was passing by, you would expect them to believe you were a police officer. Is that correct?
They may. There's also a homeowners association who wears uniforms as well. Maybe they would have thought I was HOA. I don't know what other people would have thought, sir.
All right. And were you trying to think of how to phrase this without it being a compound question, Your Honor? I apologize.
Take your time, sir.
At the time, were you handcuffed when you were at Pillbox Medical Center?
I was handcuffed, yes, while I was at Pillbox Medical Center, sir.
All right. And
I'm so
you
nervous.
received medical treatment at Pillbox Medical Center, is that correct?
I did, sir. I received medical attention at Pillbox, yes.
Okay. And did you remain inside of Ward A the entirety of your time at Pillbox Medical Center?
Sir, I'm not super familiar with the wards, but yeah, I stayed within the same close proximity to where the surgery occurred, yes.
Okay. And where were you at the time that Mr. Langbuda was brought into the hospital?
I was not able to move, sir. I was handcuffed. I was just outside of where my surgery had concluded, right next to the door.
Okay, so kind of in that little hallway there then.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. And you've already answered that question, but you were not free to move about at the time he was brought in, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Were you, at what point were you unhandcuffed?
It must have been about 20 minutes after I had gotten out of surgery. I wasn't really I'm not really sure, sir. I was coming out of surgery. I was on medication. I'm not sure. What's your question? Do you want the time of day, sir, or?
In relation to when Mr. Buddha was brought in.
I was handcuffed when he was being brought in. I was handcuffed at some point between when he was brought in and when he became stabbed.
All right. And Officer Ripley, who was it that unhandcuffed you?
Things were a little hazy due to the medication from the surgery. I believe it was Officer McCormick.
All right. And at the time you were unhandcuffed, were you still in that little hallway area, or had you been relocated again?
Well, I was not able to move. I believe I would have been in that right next to the door there in the hall, but I'm not 100% sure exactly where I was standing at that point. As I keep reiterating, I was on drugs from the surgery that I had just come out of. I may have been standing a few feet to the left or right of where I'm trying to recollect, but I couldn't have gone far, sir. I was handcuffed.
Okay. And just for clarity, saying that you don't remember is a perfectly acceptable excuse, or a perfectly acceptable answer. Sometimes these things fade from memory for medical reasons or for time reasons, and that's fine.
I don't care about the note. I'm trying to pay attention to this. I need to pay attention.
Unhandcuffed, did you you then approached Mr. Buddha? Is that correct?
Objection, leading.
What happened after you? I'll rephrase, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
That was my bad.
Rephrase, please.
What happened after you were unhandcuffed, Officer Ripley?
After I was unhandcuffed, my memory of that is foggy, sir. I do not entirely recall.
Tony knows me too well, dude. Can you get some sleep?
At this time, Your Honor, the plaintiffs would enter police report number... Well, let me get the exact number there.
He just said, I do not recall?
Police report number 19422 into evidence.
It's already been accepted into evidence. Are you going to reference it at this time?
I was going to ask Officer Ripley to review it to see if it refreshes his memory.
Sure. What's the report number?
19422, sir. It's attached to the court case on the second page.
My apologies. It's 19756 is
Okay,
actually
the other one. 17.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
19756.
Trying to find it, chat. Hold on.
Okay. And you're asking me to review this to clarify what happened. What was the question again? What happened after what?
I want to see if that refreshes your memory as to the events that occurred.
Oh, it's the police
yes,
report.
Reading this report, this does seem pretty thorough and accurate. I believe this was written by Sergeant Rhodes, whose account of the situation I trust wholeheartedly.
All right. And there's a portion in there regarding your statement of events. You would trust that wholeheartedly as well?
If it was written down by Sergeant Rhodes, I have 100% faith in it, sir.
All right. So as we stand here in court today, do you recall stabbing Mr. Buddha?
As we stand here in court today, sir, nearly 2 weeks after the incident, it is a bit like a haze, sort of like remembering a dream. There are aspects of it that I remember, feelings I remember. I do remember the stabbing in some sense. It just doesn't seem real, sir.
All right.
Can't even admit it.
Prior to arriving at Pillbox Medical, would you say you had a stressful shift, or would you say it was just an average shift for you?
I would say it was even more stressful than usual, sir.
And had you made that stress apparent to your supervisors?
My supervisors were all on a very high priority prison transport, which was attacked. Unfortunately, sir, they were not able to take my my complaints about the stress level on the job, sir.
How you doing?
All right, so your supervisors were unavailable then.
Hey,
to your based on your training and experience in the Los Santos Police Department, do you believe your supervisors should have been aware based on the events of the day?
Are you asking my opinion on if they should have known?
Your professional opinion as a police officer, yes.
My professional opinion. Am I an expert witness on this?
Insofar as police activities are concerned, I would say that you are. You said you're a senior officer who's been with the police department for 2 or 3 years, correct?
Yes, sir.
This guy's
So
good.
to answer your question, sir, I do not believe they should have known, as they're not telepathic, sir.
Understood. No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Mr.
I love
Splainer.
this guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll
Officer Ripley, how are
recross
you?
Hello, Mr. Splainer. I'm well. I hope you are as well.
You're amazing. I love you.
Alrighty, let me just get my notes out here real quick, make sure I stay within the scope. You mentioned that you had undergone medical treatment shortly before Mr. Langbuda had arrived at Pillbox Medical Center. Why did you receive medical treatment?
I received medical treatment due to I was in surgery to recover multiple large caliber rounds from my chest and shoulder. I had been shot at close range while handcuffed.
Okay. And you stated that you were administered painkillers for the surgery, correct?
Yes, sir. I had to go and I had to be given quite a few drugs to go through the surgery to have the bullets removed and repair the damage.
He
to
remembers
my,
this
to my
part.
body.
Okay. Who shot you?
Objection relevance.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Objection relevance.
I think it's relevant as to why he was at the hospital. And I'd like to know. So,
All right.
overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I was shot by 2 men. One of them was wearing
Bullshit.
a red shirt and a no mask. Later was identified as.
I never
Eugene
shot him. I just
Zuckerberg.
drove the
The other one
car.
was wearing overalls and a bird mask. He was later identified as Lang Buddha, sir.
I never
Why did
shot.
they shoot you?
This is very
They shot me for what I could tell to be.
Yeah, I'll be
because they didn't
recrossing
care
him on
enough
that.
to continue
Okay,
negotiating
perfect.
for my release. They were trying to get their friends out, and rather than try to negotiate,
I never
at some point,
shot
they
though,
merely broke
Chad.
off the
I was driving the car,
negotiations,
and I told Eugene to
regardless of
kill him.
my begging and pleading for my life and my willingness to do or say anything for my freedom and my life, they simply lined me against the wall and shot me, apparently out of spite.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness at your time, Your Honor. I would like to call him for recall.
All right, you may do that.
Thank you.
Does the plaintiff have any redirects?
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 questions.
Okay.
All right. So, Officer Ripley, you just gave us an extraordinarily detailed account of the individuals who shot you. But just to clarify for the court, you very particularly do not remember the incident that occurred there directly after that surgery. Is that correct?
Objection, scope.
Yeah, I'm going to ask that you stay within the scope of the questions that Mr. Splainer asked, sir. Okay?
Understood.
So I will go ahead and sustain.
Understood. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Officer Ripley, you may step down at this time. I will remind you to stay here as you are on a recall.
Well, then we'll address
you,
that
Your
in closing.
All right, does the plaintiff have any other witnesses they'd like to call?
Yes, Your
bullshit.
Honor. We would like to call Sergeant Matt Rhodes to the stand.
All right, Sergeant Rhodes, please step forward. Bailiff swearing Sergeant Rhodes.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't even think I got charged for attempted murder that day.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, under penalty of perjury, so help you God?
I do.
Your Honor, he has been sworn in.
All right, thank you very much, Bailiff. Mr. Crane, you may begin your line of questioning.
All right. Mr. Witness, will you please state your name and occupation for the record, please?
Yes, my name's Matt Rhodes, and I'm a sergeant in the Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
All right. And on March 18th, 2020, were you present whenever Lang Buddha was transported to Pillbox Hospital?
I was, yes.
All right. So were you with him when he was brought in, or did you arrive slightly before or after?
I was with him when he was brought in.
All right. And was Mr. Buddha under arrest or being detained at that time?
Yes, for being involved in a prison transport that was attempted to be intercepted and was actively being shot at.
And that is the contents of report number 19422, correct?
See?
Let me verify.
Yeah, go ahead and review that.
They didn't even catch me for it.
That is correct.
Okay. And at that time, were you the arresting officer? This is your report, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Did you handcuff Mr. Buddha at that time?
I did, yes.
And he was shackled hand and foot, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And upon your arrival at the hospital, where was Officer Ripley located?
From what I recall, he was positioned right outside of the treatment ward, handcuffed in the hallway.
All right. In your statement in report number 19756, it was your understanding he had undergone a, quote, traumatic event. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Were you Officer Ripley's supervisor at the time?
Yes. However, it was not the only one around.
In your training and experience, do officers typically remain on duty after such a traumatic experience?
I can't really answer that because it would truly depend on the severity of their injuries. Under normal circumstances, yes. However, under the circumstances that Mr. Ripley had gone through,
I'm not gonna lie about
probably
it, chat. I have to be completely honest, because if I start lying, I'm gonna get confused and fuck this up. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I drove the
And
car.
whenever you
I dropped
arrived,
Ripley off at the hospital
what was
because I
Officer
wanted him
Ripley
just
wearing?
to let go of him. And at that point, my homie
his
hopped out the car and
normal
fucked him up. I had nothing to do with
attire.
it.
All right. Who unhandcuffed Officer Ripley?
I do not know.
Okay. So
Small
were
lie in
you
there,
present when he was
but-
unhandcuffed?
I was.
'Cause we
in the
never
general
shot, though.
vicinity.
We
However,
never shot.
I was in the medical ward and he was positioned outside, so I do not know who handcuffed or unhandcuffed him.
Is this the same medical ward that Mr. Lang Buddha was in?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
we'll
had
talk to the
he
lawyer
had
before
Mr.
we go
Buddha
up.
been submitted to treatment at that time?
He was laying on his bed, waiting for a doctor to treat him. Yes.
All right. So, so then you witnessed Officer Ripley come into the ward. Then is that correct?
Objection leading.
Did you?
I'm gonna go ahead and sustain. Please rephrase the question, sir.
Did you? Trying to think of how to phrase this one. Let's see. Did you witness Officer Ripley come into the medical ward?
Yes.
And what happened there from?
I saw.
Really throwing this away because of
Ripley,
your ego? You kidding? What are you talking about,
sort of
Charlie?
act out.
What?
And what I would describe as a
That was the
rage,
dumbest
if
thing
you
I've ever
will.
read, too.
Pull out his knife and then stab Mr. Buddha.
All right. And how many times did Officer Ripley stab Mr. Buddha?
If I recall correctly, twice.
Okay. And did you? What locations did he stab him in, anatomically speaking?
I cannot answer that.
Understood.
I do not know.
And either at the time of the stabbing or while you were discussing it with him later, did Officer Ripley make his intentions known or why he approached Mr. Buddha in that way?
Yes. After I had taken Mr. Ripley into custody, he did explain, partially, from my understanding, why he acted in that way.
And what was that explanation?
From my understanding, I don't want to speak on Ripley's behalf, given that he is available here, but from my understanding, it was given Mr. Buddha's involvement in the situation in which he was handcuffed and gunned down at the Davis or Crusade Hospital prior to.
All right. And what happened to cause Officer Ripley to stop his attack on Mr. Buddha?
I'm not 100% certain here. I'm going to make that very, very clear. However, if I recall correctly, given this happened a while ago, I believe I tased Ripley. I then placed him in handcuffs and pulled him away from the situation.
All right. So that actually answers my my next question. Was Officer Ripley criminally charged in relation to this incident?
No.
At any point, did you consider pressing criminal charges against Officer Ripley in relation to this incident?
Given these actions were entirely uncharacteristic of Jack Ripley, I did not push any charges. I felt that was more appropriate for the DA's office, given that Jack Ripley was going to be 5150 as a result of the actions. And we wanted to ensure that actions weren't pushed if he wasn't deemed, how should I word this, of sound mind during the incident. Again, we do have 30 days to push charges, and we were going to use however long we needed to ensure that this situation was sort of analyzed, if you will, from start to finish, make sure that we had all our bases covered.
All right. And one final question. Is it standard for a police officer to carry a serrated knife with them on duty?
Is it standard? I would not say it's standard.
Understood. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Sergeant Rhodes.
Rhodes, an honest man. I respect that he sticks to his fucking character, dude.
No questions for Cross. Motion to recall.
All right. I will allow that on the recall. Sergeant Rhodes, you may step down at this time, but please do not leave the courtroom. All right. Plaintiff, your next witness, please.
Plaintiff would call Lang Buddha to the stand.
Hey, can we get a quick
Buddha,
recess?
please step forward.
I have a few questions. Is that possible?
He's taking his place.
Your Honor, can we actually have 5 minutes?
You need a 5-minute recess?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll place the court in 5-minute recess at this time. Maybe Mr. Buddha will wake up.
I'm here.
Okay.
I was just whispering. I need to ask a few
Court's in
questions.
recess.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and step outside.
Did you just bow?
Mr. Booty, you have to jump.
Bro, I am so drunk.
Just go somewhere out here. Because everyone's going to come flooding out to the front, so...
Okay. So
Or they're
here's
not.
where I'm not sure what to do.
Okay.
I go outside or in here?
We can talk right here for a moment unless other people start coming out.
Okay. So I'm like 100% sure they never caught me for any of that kidnapping shit. And even then, I am not lying to you. I'm being dead honest. I never shot at him. I fucking dropped him in front of the hospital, pulled the car away. Eugene hopped out the car, walked towards him, and gunned him down himself. Because I know Ball's
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
Well, here's what I'm going to do then. I'm just going to make it easy. I'll directly ask you if you kidnapped Officer Ripley, because you can say no to that. I will ask you if you shot Officer Ripley, and you can say no to that. I'll ask if you handcuffed him, you can say no to that.
Now, what if they have proof of that? We would know, right? Or no?
Theoretically, we would know because they should have already pressed criminal charges against you for it, and they haven't submitted anything into evidence. So the only two witnesses that are left are you and the doctor. So unless they're planning on squeezing something out of Rhodes or Ripley when they call them back up, then they got nothing.
Okay, so should I admit to the assisting of the kidnapping? Or no?
We won't ask for it. We won't even ask.
But what if they ask me, right? Because they'll probably ask me that, right?
Personally, I would go ahead and plead the fifth on that. If they ask if you've assisted, we're just going to make it excessively clear that you were not involved in torture, shooting, actually kidnapping, binding him, or anything like that.
Okay.
Because if you admit to it on the stand, then they can use that testimony against you to bring criminal charges, and they'll just to be an asshole, they'll throw accessory on you. So.
Okay, so I plead the fifth then. Or do I lie? Or do I lie? Just tell me, lie or plead the fifth. I need to know. Blink twice if I should lie. Did you blink?
No, just plead the fifth. Labar's he's not an idiot. He won't fall for that.
Okay.
Dude, it's just like an actual court case. This is nuts. Going to court on a fucking video game, dude. What a wild life.
Thank you for noticing.
Need the toilet, Eugene? You want me to roll?
No,
you
I don't need a pee-pee. No, it's all right. Oh, they're coming back. Put me back in my spot.
Oh, there he
Put me
is.
back in the disability section, all right? This being disabled thing.
I'm fucking nervous, dude. I'm fucking nervous. Why am I so nervous? I was almost 7,000 people watching me. That doesn't make me nervous, but going on stand in front of a few people I repeat with every day makes me nervous. Isn't that weird?
Apparently, you can actually buy that outfit for $99, the same one he wore in the TV series.
Really?
Look
like a cucumber.
I'll call the court back into session now.
All right. Plaintiff will then call.
Explainer to turn around. All right, plaintiff, you may call your next witness.
All right. Plaintiff will call Lang Buddha to the stand.
Okay, Mr. Buddha, please approach. Bailiff swearing, Mr. Buddha.
Please raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under the penalty of perjury, so help you God?
I do.
Your Honor, he has been sworn in.
Thank you very much. All right, you may begin your line of questioning, sir.
All right. Mr. Buddha, on or about March 18th, 2020, did you have an encounter with Officer Jack Ripley?
I did.
Yeah, did that encounter occur at Pillbox Hospital?
Yes, it did.
Can you describe the details of that encounter to the best of your ability?
Well, I was barely conscious on the hospital bed. And that's when I heard, seen Ripley run through the doors, and I heard him yell, "Where's that gnome?" or something. And then before you know it, he had a knife in his hand and stabbed me multiple times.
All right. And multiple times, how many times is that?
I believe 3 times.
All right. And had you already suffered injuries prior to the stabbing?
I did. I took some shots to my vest and was there for treatment.
Okay. Did any of those bullets puncture your vest?
I don't think they did.
Okay. So to the best of your knowledge, you were not in critical care at the time that you arrived at Pillbox Hospital then?
Correct.
Objection, opinion of a layperson.
You have a rebuttal to that objection, sir?
I'm not asking for his expert opinion as to whether or not he should have been admitted to the ICU for a few shots to the vest. I'm asking for his opinion as the individual who was shot as to whether or not he was critically injured or not.
All right, I'll go ahead and overrule the objection.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Were you critically injured at the time you arrived at Pillbox Hospital?
I would say no, but I did feel very disoriented from taking those shots to the vest, you know. Very impactful.
All right. And at the time you arrived at Pillbox Hospital, were you handcuffed?
Yes, I was.
And prior to this incident involving Mr. Ripley, had you already been committed to the infirmary for treatment?
Prior to Ripley stabbing me?
Yes.
Yes, I was under medical care.
All right. And what injuries did you suffer as a result of Officer Ripley stabbing you?
Well, I'm not a doctor. I'm not sure of the medical terms, but I was told that my lung and liver suffered some permanent damage, and then my hamstring. I can barely walk.
All right. And just for clarity, I'm not asking you to testify off the medical report, just, layperson terms, getting stabbed in the thigh, getting stabbed in the abdomen, things like that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And who was your attending physician for these injuries?
I'm not sure the doctor's name, but the guy in the back there.
All right. That answers the next question then. Have you continued to suffer ongoing injuries from the incident?
Yes, I do.
All right. And how has this impacted your day-to-day life?
Well, before I had that very growing but small but successful cleaning business, man. It was very, very hard labor. I ended up securing contracts for more than half the city, even cleaning this very courthouse, man. And since then, I can't really stand for long periods of time unless I'm, doped up on some oxy or something that I ended up taking a job at this taco stand doing deliveries, you know? Because it's easier for me to sit and kind of drive around than to, you know, do some hard labor and some cleaning, which requires me to get on my knees and vacuum and sweep and wipe windows, you know?
All right. And whenever you say contracts with half the city, who were your janitorial contracts signed out to?
Well, I worked for the courthouse. I worked for Vanilla Unicorn. I worked for Mr.
Objection relevance.
Goes to damages, Your Honor, insofar as his inability to work these contracts.
May I
Go
rebut?
ahead and you go ahead.
No general damages were stated. Compensatory for loss of wages will be under general damages.
Loss of damages were listed as will supplement, and using witness testimony is a perfectly acceptable way to do that. Not everybody gets pay stubs for their line of employment, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and overrule the objection.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay, so I worked for this very courthouse. I worked for the Vanilla Unicorn. I worked for Mr. Babaloo's pet shop up in Polito, and the church over in near the jewelry store near Vinewood.
Okay, and you haven't been able to work at any of these locations since that time, have you?
Oh, I also worked at PDM and Rooster Cap Company, and no, I have not.
All right, and on average, how much would you say you earned per week on this janitorial contract?
It's hard to. Well, it depends on jobs. From average, I would do 5 to 10 grand per week per job, and I had about 5 or 6 jobs a week I would do. So give or take 50 grand or more a week.
Yeah. All right, and what mental impact has this incident had on you?
Well, you know, I can't, you know, the first day, you know, of these things happening, or I guess the day after, you know, I love smoking cigarettes, and now I can't even smoke a cigarette without passing out, man. I had my friend, you know, hand me over a cigarette, and I tried to take a few puffs, and next thing you know, I'm waking up from the ground wondering what happened. And on top of that, you know, I love to drink a lot, man. I'm a drinker, you know, I love my whiskey, man, and my fucking beer, but I can't even enjoy a beer now after, you know, a long day of delivery driving, man, and I hate that job, man. My passion is to clean, you know? Oh my God. And on top of that, you know, it's very hard for me to walk, you know? Just the other day, I went and I got a little ticket to put on my car where I can now, you know, park in the crippled spot, man.
No. Do you need a moment, Mr. Buddha?
Yeah,
No,
if you need to take a
I'm
moment,
I
you
can keep going. I can keep going, man. I can keep going, man.
I've only
Hold yourself, please.
I've only got a few more questions for you, Mr. Buddha. Do you feel that this incident has changed your outlook towards the Los Santos Police Department?
So can you repeat the question?
Do you feel that the incident has changed the way you view the Los Santos Police Department?
I'm gonna say no, because my view before them of them was the same as it is now. I don't trust them. They're not here to protect and serve. They're here to do what they want to do and get away with it.
All right.
Corruption, man.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and open this line of questioning up to the prosecution, because I know they're going to go, or to the defense, because I know they're going to go for it. Mr. Lang Buddha, on or about March 18th, 2020, did you kidnap Officer Jack Ripley?
I didn't technically kidnap him, right? No, I did not.
Did you handcuff Officer Jack Ripley?
No, I did not.
Did you torture Officer Jack Ripley?
No, I did not.
And finally, did you shoot Officer Jack Ripley?
No, I did not.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions for this witness.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Splainer.
I don't know if I should have said yes to the first one, chat. I can't. Oh, fuck. Did I fuck that up?
Mr. Buddha, since March 18th, have you participated in any criminal activity?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Since March 18th, have you participated in any criminal activity?
Yes, I did.
Were any of those charges resisting arrest?
I mean, I guess so. I'm not really too sure.
So you've ran from the police?
Objection relevant.
Do I need to rebut, Your Honor?
You can rebut.
He is claiming damages for a knife stabbing to his chest, which apparently ruptured or permanently harmed his lung. And the criminal charge of resisting arrest implies that he has ran from police, in which his medical reports say would be impossible, or he is claiming is impossible. This goes towards the amount that he's claiming.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
I'm going to go ahead and sustain the objection.
Understood, Your Honor.
What if I use the car? Isn't that resisting arrest?
Mr. Buddha, please. He hasn't asked you any questions. I sustain the objection, which means he's going to move on to his next line of questioning. Okay?
Oh, sorry. I thought. Never mind. I'm stupid. Sorry, Mark.
Given that context, I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Plaintiff?
That was a very weak string that I had to call that out.
No
It's hard.
redirect, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Buddha, you may step down at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. You look lovely today.
Thank you. Plaintiff, your next witness, please.
Plaintiff's fourth and final witness is Dr. Howser.
Dr. Howser, please step forward. Bailiff, please swear in Dr. Howser when he's taken his place.
Stay strong, bud.
Dude, that's all he had? Was that resisting arrest?
To tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, on the penalty of perjury. So help you, Coyle.
I do.
Your Honor. Yes.
Oh, I hope that didn't fuck me up. I forgot I was supposed to. I didn't forget I was supposed to plead the fifth. I just don't know if I technically did kidnap him, but I did drive.
Right.
I don't know if they can prove
sir,
that
will you
though. I don't
please
know.
State your name and occupation for the record.
My name is Dr. Dougie Howser. I am a doctor at Pillbox Medical.
All right, and Dr. Howser, how long have you been with Pillbox Medical?
Yo, can we get a
about 2
nice
months
spam
now.
to this lawyer too, and his co-counsel if they stream?
you,
These guys are awesome.
Do you work as a ER doctor or do you specialize?
Right now, I have not picked a line. I am just in the ER as we speak. I'm pretty open to where I treat patients.
Understood. And on or about March 18th, 2020, did you treat Mr. Lang Buddha?
I did.
All right. And were you, well, that's a silly question, actually. Whenever you first examined Mr. Buddha, what was the status of his injuries at that time?
When he initially came in, I was the only doctor on duty at that time, so he was put into the bed on his own by the officers, and I was treating another patient. I didn't get to see Mr. Buddha until the incident happened with the officer.
Oh, right. So you did not examine Mr. Buddha prior to the incident with Officer Ripley, then?
Correct.
All right. And at this time, I'm going to have you refer to Medical Incident Report 4117.
Is that subsection 1 or 2? Because you had them broken down into 2 separate forms, sir. So I can go along with this.
I believe it's subsection 1, Your Honor. Subsection 2 only has the last half of a paragraph that was cut off.
All right, thank you.
Pretty sure I can show this, right?
Dr. Howser, just let me know when you've got that
Yep,
report
I'm good.
ready.
I'm ready.
All right. And that states that while the patient was lying on the stretcher waiting to be treated, an incident occurred between Officer Ripley.
Can this fuck
where
me if the
you
doctor
needed to make
said
Mr. Buddha's treatment
one
go
was in the
priority.
right shoulder,
Can
the
you
second was in the
elaborate
right
on that
thigh?
incident?
Well, I was about 2 to 3 beds down, treating another patient that was in for a gunshot wound, and all of a sudden I heard, I believe was Officer McCormick, yell out, "He's bleeding to death. So you got to get over here." I initially tried to get EMS to get him on the bed and to start stopping the bleeding, but it was too severe, so I ran over there to start treatment.
All right. And can you explain the injuries that Mr. Buddha sustained to the court, preferably in layman's terms, because I think you're the only doctor in the room.
Layman's terms, basically he got 3 to 4 puncture wounds to the abdomen, like 3 to the abdomen, torso region, and 1 to the hamstring area. It was basically cuts. You could see the cut in the stomach and chest area, lower chest area, abdomen.
Okay, can I pause you right there? You said 3 to 4 to the abdomen and 1 to the hamstring. I just need that clarification.
Okay, two. It's like I think it was pretty sure it was 2 to 3 to the abdomen and 1 to the leg.
Thank you.
Did he read his
All right. And these abdominal wounds, did they impact any of Mr. Buddha's vital organs?
Initially, I did not believe so. We started.
Tony, thank you for the host. I didn't even see
treatment.
that,
We
dude.
started to get some of his vitals.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're in
somewhat
chat.
stable. I packed him up, treated the gunshot wounds. That I guess what he was initially there for, and then cleaned them up, sutured, and was checking his vitals consistently to maintain them. Put him on the heart monitor machine, and because he was not ready to go because he still didn't gain consciousness. And I went to go treat a couple other patients that came in as well, while checking on him frequently in between patients.
All right, so initially you didn't believe that it had impacted any of his major organs. Did you later discover that it had?
Yes, when I checked back with him, the checkup on his breathing and check his vitals again, he flatlined, which then I had to try to get him uncuffed from the bed, grabbing an officer to get him uncuffed from the bed, and then I rushed him into surgery.
All right, and what sorts of surgeries were performed to rectify these injuries?
Upon entering into surgery, he was scanned and revealed that he had a puncture wound to his lung and to his liver, and a large one to his left hamstring. I then began to insert a scope to help locate the area precisely and treat the injuries.
All right, and redirecting to the stab to the left leg, did that impact any major organs or operations of the left leg?
It hit the hamstring fairly deep, cutting multiple fibers of the hamstring, which I had to meticulously sew fibers back together to try to build up strength.
All right, and in your medical opinion, does Mr. Buddha suffer a chance of re-injury or aggravation of these particular wounds?
The hamstring, I believe he suffers at least a 50% chance of re-injury, because once it is cut, it is never at full strength. The liver and lungs are depending on time and is the healing process, but usually they heal okay, fairly well, unless there's complications during the healing process. He may experience short-term shortness of breath, sometimes vomiting. He takes deep breaths, nausea. Other than that, I can't really tell. Maybe down the line we'd be able to tell further if there would be any more permanent damage to the liver and lung area.
All right, and in your medical opinion, will he require any sort of ongoing re-examinations or physical therapy to recover from these injuries?
With the hamstring, I probably would suggest physical therapy to strengthen it as best as they can. Like I said, re-injury is possible at much greater chance. The other stuff is just basically if he takes care of his body, eats well, heals, rests, then lets his body do what it needs to do for healing purposes. We can later check on that and see if everything's healing properly.
All right. I've only got 2 more questions for you, Doc. I'm going to use the 2 medical terms I actually know. In your opinion, has Mr. Buddha reached maximal medical improvement at this time?
I do not believe so. It usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the lung to heal, with the liver as well. And the hamstring injury is going to be ongoing for a while until he, builds up strength or has some rehab on it. But he could be, very difficult to walk for a while until he does that, if not permanently. Like I said, it could be re-injured.
You just call them weak.
That actually answers. It almost answers my second question. In your opinion, will Mr. Buddha ever be returned to his medical status prior to sustaining these injuries?
It's possible, but I can't guarantee it. Usually, like I said, you can re-injure it much easier, but it's all depending on his, motivation and rehabilitation. But it is very possible. But I don't know if it's, if he can get to that point. It's going to be a tough road.
Thank you. No further questions.
I have
Thank you,
one
Doctor.
thing. Maximum medical improvement. Exactly what is that, sir?
I'm guessing. I'm gonna say it's where he was.
I'm sorry, you're guessing?
No, I'm sorry, it came out wrong. That is
boy.
where he comes back to where he was prior to the injury.
Got like one of those magic 8-balls or something.
Initially.
All right, thank you for clarifying for the court, sir.
Keeps talking.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor, and thank you, Dr. Howser.
I think this is scripted.
All right, and this was your last witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, okay. Mr. Splainer, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Howser, how are you?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Pretty good. Let me just pull out my notes. I want to make sure I'm good here.
Ice Angel over here.
Has Mr. Buddha approached Pillbox Medical Center for any follow-on treatment?
Not for me particularly, and if anyone else, I am not aware of.
If you had learned that your patient with such injuries had been running from police, what would be your medical opinion?
Objection relevance.
Rebuttal?
I am asking for his medical opinion as to what he think the aggravated injuries would be if Mr. Buddha had been running from
Whenever I
police
did, I would limp.
after
I'm
suffering
limping when I
significant
walk. Is this
injury
guy
owed to
stupid?
The gravity of the wounds that Mr. Buddha has sustained.
Yeah, we'll address that on redirect.
I'll go ahead and overrule the objection. I'll allow
Man, it'd be a shame if this DA died.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, physically running, he'd be very difficult, shortness of breath, and hard to run if possible, with the injury, hamstring injury.
Okay. Has Mr. Buddha approached Pillbox Medical Center for any physical therapy?
Not to me directly, and I do not know about any other doctors or physicians.
I was waiting till after the fucking court case.
Has Mr. Buddha approached any psychologists employed by Pillbox Medical staff for treatment?
How the fuck would I do that?
I do not know that either. Not from me directly or from anyone else.
One moment. Mr. Ripley, is there a reason why you keep turning and staring at the plaintiff?
No, Your Honor. I'm merely.
Is that an intimidation tactic,
I've been,
sir?
I've been standing here for a long time, Your Honor, just stretching my neck out, Your Honor. I apologize. I'll keep my head straight
After this
ahead.
line of questioning, sir, I'll put the court in recess for a few minutes. All right. I
Thank you, Your Honor.
apologize for the interruption.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just to restate the question, get us back on track. Has Mr. Lang Buddha approached Pillbox Medical Center for any psychological treatment?
Objection, Your Honor. It's outside of the personal knowledge of the witness, which he has made abundantly clear.
I'll go ahead and sustain the objection.
Understood, Your Honor. I have no further questions for a cross. I would motion to add Dr. Hauser to my recall list.
All right. Motion is accepted. Plaintiff, do you have any on redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor, unless my co-counsel has anything.
Co-counsel?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hauser, you may step down at this time. Thank you. Plaintiff, do you have any evidence you'd like to go over?
Not at this time, Your Honor. All of the plaintiff's evidence has been addressed and verified by the witnesses.
All right, thank you very much. Before we go into the defense and their line of questioning, I'll go ahead and put this court in recess for 5 minutes. Everybody can stretch their legs, use the facilities, get some food. We'll come back here in 5 minutes.
Honor, you look beautiful today. I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
What?
I am gonna do the
so
same
funny,
thing.
Dana. Stretch your legs. Yeah.
Be a shame if this DA burned alive.
Oh.
And chill.
No, don't touch me.
This is pee on this motherfucker, man.
Do you mind? I'm taking a shit.
Fuck you, honestly. I have to pee, man.
You motherfucker.
Police are gonna
I will.
wheel you around.
Apparently, I'm stuck in the toilet. I fell in. I fell in.
What's that?
Let me out. I fell in. How do I get the fuck out? That's what you get.
Should sue him. Oh, great. All right. Good stuff. All right. Fantastic. Thought you and Mel were friends. Oh, right. Oh, right. Yeah, not okay. Not fantastic. Okay. Am I wheeling this poor man? Wait, Kanye, could you wheel the Eugene? Oh, okay. Got him. Oh shit. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, Kanye's pushing the wheelchair. What on earth?
My wife over there.
What on earth?
Oof. Oof. Oh, I don't need to pee. Oh, there's people in there.
No,
oh.
no, Kanye, that's a toilet.
not a
that's
disabled
toilet.
bathroom.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
stupid.
That's a toilet.
What the
yeah,
fuck?
That's
Listen,
going outside,
Ellie, is
buddy.
that you in an
I'm
olive
waiting for my
green?
hairspray.
Yeah.
Mr. Buddha,
Hey, who's that?
your former employer.
No, boss, I'm so sorry I couldn't come into work anymore, man. Please forgive me.
You haven't been picking up the phone calls? What's up with this?
Look at my
Missing
leg,
out.
man. I can't do physical labor no more, you know?
I see that. But you can still get on your knees, yes.
No, it hurts very, very badly whenever I try to suck dick, you know? It's not very good.
No, I wasn't talking about that, but if you want to go that way, that's...
Oh, you mean for... Oh, shit, sorry, man.
yes, about that.
Maybe one day I can return if I'm ever back at full strength, you know?
Yeah, excuse me for a second.
Appreciate it. Doing good.
Dude, this lawyer is fucking unreal. He's like very well spoken. Extremely well spoken. Show him some love, chat. Show him some love. Can we get another spam to his channel and his co-counsel?
Keep it up.
Coil's nerfing your lawyer. True.
How you doing, Sob?
I'm alright. I'm alright. Just enjoying my day, you know? Can't wait to see my
Yeah.
boy cash out with some cash here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm doing good.
I'm surprised they didn't press criminal charges. Actually, I argued
me
with
too.
Hallow over that.
I'm not sure how this process works. But
Yeah.
Hope he gets a good payment from you.
Yeah, it's fucked
Winking
up.
face, winking face, winking face.
You got 3 judges on this? Huh.
I think they're just talking.
Yo, no, I think it's $10, dude.
Oh, they have Coyote up there, so that's
Yeah, I'm
good.
excited to see how much I get paid.
Daily. That's a good sign.
Sab, don't drink too much tonight. We're supposed to drink tomorrow.
Too late. I'm about to go to bed after this. I'm so sleepy.
That's the wine. Save your liver for tomorrow, okay?
Absolutely. I think my tolerance is pretty dog shit. That's why.
Yeah, you're a pussy. It's okay. You drink White Claws. That's why.
What's this case over, anyways? Is Buddha on
Is there
top of
any
murder or
laws
something?
with the claw there, Mr. Sam?
Your
Wait, what?
Honor, you look beautiful today, man. But no, I am on trial for being a victim.
Wait, what?
Yes, I've been stabbed multiple times while in police custody under medical care, barely conscious.
Did you try to stab Ripley and you fell on the knife?
He was.
Your Honor, how dare you? How
Wait,
you
what?
dare you accuse that of me? I was handcuffed, man.
All right. Just wondering. It's not my case.
I
Don't
like
matter
your
what I say.
mustache. You look good today.
All right. Good luck there, Buddha.
But she don't look better than the barman. Nobody looks as good as him.
That's mom. It's fine.
No, I'm not a mime anymore. I don't want to
What?
talk about it. They changed my mugshot and everything.
What's your mugshot, mom?
Well, you took it, Frank.
Your Honor, can you please get Frank Williams away from me? For I'm fearful that Ripley might have convinced him to stab me. I'm very scared right now.
Contempt charge for calling Midas' suit ugly.
What?
Frank.
What happened?
Frank, give him space, all right?
What? I can't stand over here and talk to somebody? The fuck?
No, I'm fearful for my life.
If you would please do me a favor and move over to yours. Thank you.
When did the BCSO hire SoundCloud rappers?
I'm
going back down.
It's actually a corrections jacket.
Hey,
Which one?
Wow.
Jody
Pull
High
that
Roller?
pussy on her.
I don't know.
Well, he did have good merit on that, Sab.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, do we have everybody back in the courtroom? We can proceed.
I'm gonna snatch this lawyer up. It's my own.
We'll talk later.
All right. Go ahead and call this court back into session. Mr. Splainer, do you have everyone here?
I believe I have all of my witnesses that were on recall. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You may call your first witness, sir.
Yo, what up?
The defense would like to call Senior Officer Jack Ripley to the stand.
All right. Mr. Ripley, please step forward, and I'll remind you, sir, that you are under oath.
Thanks for coming, Curtis. Good to see you, ma. Every time. You look cute today. You look cute today, ma. You look cute, bro.
Rip his ass apart on the stand. You got this.
Your Honor, I don't hear anyone. I don't know if they're speaking.
They haven't spoken yet, sir.
Okay, all
Wait,
right.
am I gonna go up there
I was,
again?
waiting to
I'm
be cleared to
fucking
proceed.
nervous.
Am I, Your Honor?
I don't believe that they marked you for recall, but
Sergeant
we'll
Rhodes
see.
is okay with it.
Apologies.
Sergeant Rhodes, am I clear to proceed?
Yes.
Thank you, Sergeant Rhodes. Officer Ripley, how are you this evening?
Fantastic.
Curtis had his
First off,
laptop
do you
in
consent
bed
to
the
your
whole
personal
day.
medical information being discussed in this courtroom today?
Yes, I consent, sir.
Okay. How many times did you encounter Lang Buddha on March 18th, 2020?
How many different times?
How many different times? Just a number.
2.
Relevant.
Okay. What happened during your first encounter with Lang Buddha?
He kidnapped me, robbed
doesn't
me,
know if I was wearing a fucking mask.
threatened me,
It
humiliated
makes no
me,
fucking sense. He's
slammed me
lying.
against the wall, and had me shot.
We've already had
How
an
did you identify
objection
your
ruled on
kidnappers?
that, so.
Their clothing.
Oh, you are?
What they were wearing.
I'm not.
They were ended up
Oh,
getting
oh.
arrested in the same clothes moments
but I
later.
guess I'm
Hey, can you guys shut up? I can't hear him, please.
Yes, please. I can't.
Please no outbursts.
Your Honor, can you have him repeat that? I don't think my co-counsel and I heard anything.
Please repeat that for me as well.
Yes, Your Honor. The way I identified them was their clothes, who they were associating with, and the fact that they were captured a few moments later wearing the same clothes and with the same people.
Thank you for
in the case of Lang Buddha, he was wearing blue overalls and a bird mask. Eugene was wearing a red.
I was wearing gray overalls. This guy's a fucking idiot.
Okay. How were you injured during your kidnapping?
I was injured by a large caliber round from some kind of fully automatic, almost like a snub-nosed rifle. Maybe on the streets sometimes they call it a Draco, I believe it was. Lined me up against a wall, pointed it at my chest, and asked me if I had any last words, and then blasted me.
Okay. Were you on duty before the kidnapping?
Before the kidnapping, yes, I was on duty, yes.
Were you on duty at the hospital?
No, I was not on duty at the hospital.
Why weren't you on duty?
I shot by 2.
Well, I would have loved to have been on duty, sir, but unfortunately, Mr. Buddha and Mr. Zuckerberg pointed a gun at me and took me to Sandy Shore Sheriff's Office and told me if I didn't sign off the computer in front of them, that they would kill me there on the spot. So I did as they told me to do.
Okay. After your kidnapping, did you receive medical treatment?
After my kidnapping, yes, I've received medical treatment, yes.
Okay. Where did you receive medical treatment?
At Pillbox Medical Center.
Who treated you?
This guy's lying like a motherfucker.
That testified here earlier. I haven't been too familiar with him, but he was the only doctor on duty.
Stop talking.
Okay. What happened after your treatment?
I need to listen. Please stop talking.
They took a couple bullets out of me. I remember standing there, and he was asking me if I could move. I couldn't, and then we realized that I was still handcuffed.
This guy's lying. He's lying so much.
I remember people asking each other if they had handcuffs, and then people going out to the lobby to ask if anyone had handcuffs. Nobody had any handcuffs. I remember someone calling out of the radio to see if any of the cops had any handcuffs, but they were busy. They couldn't come down to the hospital at the time due to the situation
Yeah,
they
it's
were
very
engaged
clear
in
he forgets.
with the prison.
You know, he was very forgetful
convoy
that
being
day.
attacked. Yeah, and I remember just standing there for a while waiting for someone to come uncuff me.
Okay. When did you next see the defendant?
I don't know how
Or
much
the
time had
plaintiff, excuse
passed, but I remember standing there a while, and then eventually a bunch of cops came in, and each of them had a downed suspect with them. And that's when I saw, I believe it was Rhodes carrying in Mr. Buddha. Somebody was carrying in Mr. Buddha. That was the next time I saw him. They put him in the bed right next to me.
How did you feel while you were handcuffed in the lobby?
Oh, terrible.
Snake.
Felt like the worst day of my life. I was in an extreme amount of pain. I was humiliated. I was drowsy from the drugs. I was just wondering when it would all be over, and I remember just breathing heavily, and my heart felt like it was going to beat out of my chest. It was shaking. It was the worst feeling I've ever had in my life.
Okay. Who removed your handcuffs?
I believe it was McCormick.
Okay. What happened after your handcuffs were removed?
What happened after my handcuffs were removed was sort of like a dreamlike. I remember going towards Buddha, but it almost felt like someone else's legs were moving my body, and I heard like my voice, but it didn't feel like I was talking.
What the fuck am I listening to right
I was
now?
looking down at him. I must have been up on his bed somehow. And I remember him screaming something like, "Do it, the beach!" And then I remember just stabbing, blood, and screaming. Everyone was swearing, and
This is amazing selective memory.
Rhodes tackling me to the ground, and there was a taser. Next thing I remember, it was just a lot of yelling, and somehow I ended up at Mission Row PD.
At Mission Row, were you confronted by a member of PD Command?
Multiple members of PD Command, yes.
What happened during these confrontations?
First, I was confronted by Sergeant Rhodes, who took an after action report, basically, just kind of took a situation report about what happened leading up to that and what my feelings were at the time. I remember a lot of yelling. I really wasn't I don't really remember everything I said. I was still very shaky. I remember my hands were trembling, my knees were shaking, I was sweating profusely, I was very angry, I was very emotional at the time. I remember him telling me to calm down multiple times and telling me that I wasn't acting like myself and that he'd known me for years, and it's almost like he felt like he was talking to a different person. He left the room for a while to kind of let me cool off and responded to another situation, and then I remember Sergeant Angel came in probably 20-25 minutes later, and I had an opportunity to calm down a bit and have some food and something to drink, and she came in and told me that I was like a mentor to her and thanking me for her guidance, guiding her and making her the police officer she came to be, and somehow that sort of helped me come back to my senses a bit, and we had a conversation about what was going to happen next and who was going to look after Zero, and where I was going to be staying for the next couple of weeks at Parsons Rehabilitation Center.
Okay, leads on into the next question. Were you placed on a psychological hold?
I was. Sergeant Rhodes and Sergeant Angel helped me with that. They helped make arrangements and told me that was the best place for me. They believed that I was.
Look at the sub count, it's fake.
Rehabilitation from the doctors, and I spent the next 2 weeks speaking almost daily with Dr. Pixie Plum and Dr. Marks about what happened and what led up to it, and how to make sure it never happens again.
How long are you receiving treatment from Dr. Pixie Plum and Dr. Leon Marks?
It's still ongoing. There's really no end date for it. One of the factors leading up to the situation was increased workload.
Is this about
due to
me
the
or is this
stress
about
level,
them? I'm
elevated
so
stress
confused
levels,
here.
And the tension in the city is
Yeah,
higher than ever.
it's
these days.
mostly irrelevant.
Continually stretched.
It's irrelevant
thin,
insofar as the state of mind was concerned. That's about it.
Having to deal with more and more stuff. So one of the,
what they don't realize is that he was still a
Dr. Plum helped
marked
me with
police
was to talk
officer.
about
So
the stressors and the factors that led to that situation.
and best case
to help
scenario,
make
it
sure
still
they don't
falls
happen
back
again.
on his supervisors to make sure he
our
wasn't
plan
on
is
duty
to
at the
meet
time.
twice weekly to speak about such stressors, as well as at the time any additional unexpected stressors pop up that may lead to another
Yeah, they're
situation
setting
like
up an
that, so that we can
insanity
talk about it and
defense.
help cope and process them.
Okay. On March 18th, 2020, when did you feel like you were no longer under the effects of the painkillers from your surgery?
Oof, they were pretty strong, but I believe I started to feel about an hour and a half after the surgery. I started to feel my my chest and my shoulder again. Sometime when I was between when I spoke to Sergeant Rhodes and when Sergeant Angel came into the room, I believe I was having a cheeseburger and I started to feel the drugs wearing off and started to feel my heart rate coming down.
Okay. What was the diagnosis from your therapist concerning the altercation?
This is so
Dr.
pointless.
Marks,
Can we just move
told
on?
me that the diagnosis was a panic attack.
Do we know spam for the
driven by
lawyers'
stress.
Twitch chat tasking?
Did they identify any major contributors to the stress?
Multiple contributors, yes. Mostly the stress of the job, which is always going to be a factor, but also the trauma of the kidnapping and the humiliation of the situation, begging for my life and not being able to do anything to save myself, and the shooting, of course, the physical trauma that went along with that. So physical, mental, and emotional trauma on top of the stress.
Okay. In the opinion of
I tied the victim
licensed
here.
therapist,
I'm so
did
fucking
the
confused.
Do you want to
painkillers have
handle
any
cross
effect
on
on
this,
your
or do you want me
mental state?
to?
Due to the medication I was on, I wasn't.
I mean,
was that an objection? What was that?
I'm
Is
sorry.
someone talking right now?
I
Hello?
apologize.
Mr.
I
Ripley,
apologize.
please.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, Your Honor.
What's your name, sir? The co-counsel.
Nick Grayson.
You need to speak up a little bit, sir.
Yeah, I apologize. I thought I was whispering. My
You
apologies.
sound like you're talking into a jar for me. I don't know if that's just me.
That's fucked up, Your Honor.
True.
Thank you.
Your Honor, come on.
All right. Could you just speak up a little bit? That's all.
I think you sound
What was your
Yeah,
objection?
absolutely. No objection, sir. I thought I was whispering. My apologies.
Oh, okay. So you want to interrupt my courtroom?
I apologize.
All right.
That is not my intention.
Mr. Splainer, you asked the question again.
Yes, Your Honor. Did your therapist have an opinion on the effect of the painkillers to your mental state?
It was likely a factor, yes, into my decision making in my state at that time.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right.
All right, now the questioning's over. Sorry, what was that, Nick?
No, I think if you're comfortable with crossing them, good.
Yeah, just a few questions.
I love this guy. He's got such a cool aura around him.
I'll take. No, I'll make my own clipboard. It's fine. All right, Officer Ripley. Just to clarify, you are testifying under oath today that the stabbing of Lang Buddha occurred under a haze. You have very little memory of that event.
That's correct. I do have some memories of it, but you're correct. It is. I think hazy would be a good word to describe my recollection of that situation. Yes.
All right, but following your surgery, were you kept in an infirmary bed?
No, I was not, sir.
Okay. You were you moved out into the hallway?
Yes, sir. I was taken out to the hallway because I was handcuffed. We were waiting for a cop to come uncuff me, but nobody was available for quite some time, sir.
All right, so at that time, you were just left standing in the hallway by yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're testifying that you remember all the way down to the shoes that the people who kidnapped you were wearing. Is that correct?
Are you talking about before the situation occurred?
Yeah, prior to the stabbing of Lang Buddha, yes.
Yes, I remember everything that happened prior to when I was blasted at Crusade Hospital, sir. Yes, absolutely, crystal clear.
All right,
I
so
remember what people
the
were wearing that shot me, sir.
So the events of that were not affected by this memory lapse of yours. Then, is that correct?
Correct, sir. The surgery did not erase my memories prior to the surgery. Correct, sir. That's how memory loss works. Yes.
Yeah, but you've
He doesn't
testified
know.
that it was not just the surgery. You've testified it was a stress-induced reaction. Is that correct?
Objection calls for argument.
It's not calling for argument. I'm showing inconsistencies in the witness's own testimony, Your Honor.
ahead and overrule the objection. Like the answer.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can you repeat the question, sir? I'm trying to understand what you're asking.
Have you testified that this was not simply related to the surgery? This was stress-induced, correct, according to your psychologist?
Stress was a factor, yes.
Okay. Would you say you were under stress while you were being kidnapped?
I'd say it was stressful, yes.
Would you say you were under stress when you were shot?
for every single one of us.
A lot of stress, yes.
I agree.
All right.
You're not stressed out getting shot every day?
Let me just review my notes here momentarily. And you were placed on a psychological hold. How long was that hold?
It was indefinite until medical professionals at Parsons were able to speak to me and come to their own conclusions.
All right. And what was the actual calendar length of your stay at Parsons?
Let's see. I can get you that 1 second. I went in there on March 18th. I believe I was released on hang on. Calendars are hard, sir. Just a second.
No worries, Officer Ripley. You take your time.
I believe I was released on the 26th, which was a Thursday night.
All right. So approximately 7 to 8 days, then. Is that correct?
Yes, that sounds right, yes.
All right. And you stated you had discussions with two command members of LSPD, both, two command members of the police department, I guess I should say, both Sergeant Rhodes and Angel. Is that correct?
In relation to what? Just that day of the 18th, or?
In relation to the events that transpired at Pillbox Medical Center.
I ultimately had conversations with more members of command besides just those two, but those are the two I spoke with on March 18th, sir.
All right. And you testified that you remembered some yelling occurring between yourself and Rhodes. Can you elaborate on that yelling?
Sure, yeah. I remember there was, I heard my voice. I don't remember opening my mouth to speak, but it's almost like I heard somebody yelling in my voice.
What?
I was standing on the bed. I remember looking down at him, so I must have been standing above him. I remember him saying, "Louis, the beach," and then there was stabbing and there was blood. I think I yelled something like, I'll kill you," or something to that effect. And then I remember Rhodes shouting to me, "Get off the bed," and he tackled me. That's about all I can remember. There's a lot of yelling, a lot of there's blood everywhere. There were people saying, "Get him out of here."
Dude, what is he saying right now? I'm so confused.
Just to clarify, I'm talking about the yelling that you said occurred between yourself and Sergeant Rhodes later, whenever he spoke with you about the incident.
Exactly, he's not talking about that shit.
I can't remember much about it. I was yelling at him. I have great respect for Sergeant Rhodes, but I was yelling things. I was angry. I felt angry, but it was not fair to point that at him. He was only trying to help. I don't remember what I yelled at him.
It's a civil case. 5150 doesn't matter.
But I damned if I can remember what it was.
All right. And do you remember what pain medication you were prescribed that day?
I think it had like 6 syllables, sir. I don't remember. I have no idea.
All right. And do you remember the side effects of that medication?
Made me feel damn good, sir.
All right. So you, just to clarify then, you spoke with your therapist and psychologist regarding your diagnosis, but you didn't review your medical paperwork as to your surgery then, is that correct?
No, that's not correct, sir. I reviewed it.
Did you review it in detail?
Sure did, yeah.
Do you remember if you were administered a local or a general anesthetic?
Damned if I remember, sir. There's a lot of big words in there. I reviewed it, though.
You just say you reviewed it in detail. What is this guy doing?
Actually, Your Honor, I have some.
Okay, come on up.
Okay, let's go. Let's get him, boy. Get him, boy.
Nick Grayson.
All right, thank you.
Get him, Nick.
Do I sound better?
A little bit.
You sound amazing.
Sir.
Perfect. All right. Mr. Ripley, has this memory loss event occurred before?
Has this memory
Well,
loss
I
event
mean, a
occurred
similar event like this occurred before.
Nothing like this has ever happened in my life, sir.
Okay, and would you say, as your experience as an officer, would you consider it stressful?
I would say being an officer is stressful in general to a degree, yeah.
Okay, would you consider this event any more stressful than any other event you've ever had to deal with in, your experience as an officer? 2-3 years, you said?
Significantly more so, yes, sir. This is one of the most stressful things that's ever happened in my life, sir.
All right. I have no further questions.
All right, Mr. Splainer.
Stressed all day, feels relaxing
I
and
have
stabbing.
no questions
Yeah.
for redirect, Your Honor.
All right.
That's my bad.
Mr. Ripley, you may step down at this time, sir.
Please don't call me up, dude. I'm gonna fuck this up, dude. I'm the wild card. I'm here. I'm the
All
guy
good,
that fucks everything
all
up.
good.
Your next witness, Mr. Splainer.
I think we did a
The
pretty good
defense,
job illustrating that
recalls Sergeant Matt
is very
Rhodes.
selective as to when his memory was gone.
You guys are amazing. You guys are fucking
Understood, Your
amazing.
Honor.
Look, I'm really scared to go back up there. I feel like I'm gonna fuck everything up.
Sergeant Rhodes.
I don't think
Just remember what I told you. You'll be fine, and take your time. Think about questions.
Alrighty, Sergeant Rhodes, were you on duty March 18th, 2020?
Yes.
Was Jack Ripley on duty March 18th, 2020?
Yes.
Were you aware of Jack Ripley's kidnapping on that day?
I was made aware. However, am I able to go into detail in regards to that? Because I feel like timing's important in regards to that question.
Sure.
So we had just gotten done with the situation involving a shooting where Ripley had just gotten on duty. Given that he was sort of last on scene, he wasn't required for any of the 7 individuals we had in custody to process. We then had a jewelry store robbery that he responded to as the only officer who was available because everyone else was busy processing.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the rest of this answer as narrative.
Hold on. There's an objection.
Yep.
I will go ahead and sustain the objection. Mr. Splainer, if you could ask him very specific questions instead of giving me this whole long story.
Understood.
Thank you.
I can answer the original question, Your Honor. Yes, I was aware. I was made aware at some point in time.
Okay. When did you last see Jack Ripley before his kidnapping?
At Mission Row PD, asking whether or not we required any assistance with processing.
Okay. What event was Jack Ripley last reported responding to?
A jewelry store robbery where he indicated that he witnessed an individual with a no mask shoot the driver of a tour bus and then pull them out, and he began following them.
What was the last signal of communication that you received from Officer Jack Ripley?
Over radio, he stated 1078, which means that there's an officer in need of emergency backup, and that people were actively opening fire upon his vehicle, and he was attempting his best to get back into the city. And then there was radio silence.
Okay. If you could give an estimate or an exact number, how long was it between this 1078 call and Officer Jack Ripley being located?
I can't answer that question. I genuinely do not know.
Okay, that's fine. When did you next see Jack Ripley after the 1078 call?
Next time I saw Jack Ripley was at Pillbox Medical in the hallway in front of the medical ward.
Okay. Was Lang Buddha also in the hospital at this time?
Yes, I had transported him into the medical ward and placed him on a bed.
Was Lang Buddha under arrest?
Yes, he was for being involved in the prison transport intercept.
Okay. What was Lang Buddha wearing upon arrest?
If I recall correctly, blue overalls.
It was
and a bullet
gray!
mask, and he was found in a Mustang that was actively shooting at police.
Understood.
Wasn't this all asked already? Isn't this asked and answered or something?
It wasn't asked of Rhodes.
Was Officer Ripley in handcuffs when you next saw him?
I'm fucking scared. They're gonna call me up there. I'm fucking scared.
Was he released from these handcuffs?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know why he was in handcuffs?
At the time, I did not know. However, it was later determined that he was in handcuffs from when he was shot down, essentially execution style, at the Crusader Davis Medical Center.
Okay. How would you describe Jack Ripley's general demeanor after being released from his handcuffs?
Entirely uncharacteristic of himself. He was most definitely angry, and it seemed as if sort of just hearing Mr. Buddha's voice in the medical ward sort of set him off, like a switch was flicked.
Okay. What happened in the treatment ward?
I witnessed Jack Ripley jump onto Mr. Buddha's bed with a knife in hand and stab him.
Okay. How many times was Lang Buddha stabbed?
I saw Mr. Buddha get stabbed twice.
And what was your response to the situation unfolding?
I ended up tasing Ripley. Unfortunately, I struggled to reach my taser to begin with. I did tackle him first. Then I tased him and immediately placed him in cuffs. Brought him down to Mission Row PD.
Okay. How long have you known Jack Ripley?
Well over 2 years.
Has he ever displayed a pattern of violence in these past 2 years?
Never.
Did Jack Ripley seem sane of mind
Bullshit.
when you arrested him?
In my opinion, no.
As a member of the Blaine County Sheriff's Office Command and the ranking officer on duty, what was the recommended action taken against Jack Ripley in response to this event?
Given that the actions were entirely uncharacteristic of Ripley, and the fact that he had gone through a very traumatic experience less than an hour prior to, we determined that the best course of action, given that we believed that Ripley was both a danger to himself and others, was to 5150 him.
And for the court's record, what is a 5150?
It's a 72-hour involuntary hold pending a mental evaluation for people we believe to be a danger to both themselves and others.
Understood. Is a 5150 a criminal charge?
It's treated like one.
It is a charge we do place on records for individuals who are 5150.
Okay. Does it carry any criminal culpability?
No.
Is it against procedures for officers to carry a combat knife?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much.
I would be an asshole and ask if he gets stressed out and stabs people.
Shut the fuck up, West.
All right. Only got a few for you, Sergeant Rhodes. At the time that you received the 1078 call from Officer Ripley, did he describe the vehicle that was pursuing him?
I do not believe so.
Did he state
However, I
how
could
many?
be wrong.
Did he state how many times the vehicle was occupied?
Over radio, directly no. However, he did make it clear that he was pursuing that tour bus, that he witnessed an individual shoot the driver of and pull out and steal. And then later described it as sort of an ambush.
All right. And at the time, whenever you witnessed Officer Ripley withdraw his knife, why was he not immediately apprehended?
There again, as I stated, I struggled to be able to grab my taser.
How many officers were in the treatment ward?
I do not know.
Could you approximate?
No, because we had far too many active situations going on at the same time.
All right, so it could have been anywhere from 0 to 100 officers in that room then.
That is correct.
Objection, counsel's testifying.
I'm trying to narrow down the potential number of police officers in the room.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Understood. Do you believe that all officers had trouble reaching their tasers?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
All right, he's got a little bark.
All right,
He's got a little
after
bark.
the first time that Officer Ripley stabbed Lang Buddha, why was he not apprehended at that point?
Objection, misstatement of testimony.
Rebuttal.
I'm not stating any testimony. I'm trying to lay out a timeline as to why it took so long to apprehend someone when he was stabbed 3 times, Your Honor.
I'll go ahead and overrule the
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Can you ask that question again?
Why was Officer Ripley not apprehended after the first time that he stabbed Lang Buddha?
Because stuff takes time, sir. I cannot instantly pull out a taser and fire it upon someone. An individual with a weapon in hand can very likely stab an individual multiple times before I'm able to reach for something. Hence why he was tackled. And then
Understood. I've got no further questions for this witness. I'm going to turn it over to my co-counsel, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Splainer?
I
have
gotta
no questions for redirect, Your Honor.
If they're gonna call me up, I gotta recess. I'm
Time you
scared as
step down,
fuck.
you are
I'm
free
actually scared as fuck. I'm gonna fuck this up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do you have any more witnesses, Mr. Splainer?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense would like to recall Dr. Dougie Howser to the stand.
Oh,
Dr.
fuck.
Howser? I'll remind you, sir, that you're still under oath.
called.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your
I
Honor.
hope not. I'm fucking scared. How's it looking? Think we're gonna lose?
You may proceed, Mr. Splainer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sorry,
were you on duty
not
on
in the
March
slightest.
18th, 2020 at Pillbox Medical Center?
I was.
What is your occupation at Pillbox Medical Center?
I am a doctor at Pillbox Medical.
Okay. Did you treat Jack Ripley on March 18th, 2020?
I did.
Oh, can you describe this treatment for the court?
I'm gonna go off of recollection here. I'm not too sure because I don't have my report with me, but he was brought in by EMS. Pale, gunshot wounds, I believe 4. 1 to the shoulder, 2 to the chest, 1 to the thigh, and unconscious, shallow breathing.
In the criminal
Okay.
justice system,
Were any painkillers used
cop
during this
stabbing
treatment?
are considered especially heinous.
I do not
In
recall
Los
at this
Santos,
time. I would
the
have to look
dedicated
in my
detectives who
actual medical
investigate
notes.
these
I
vicious
My
would
boy
crimes
Meads,
are
dude.
members
Love
of
this guy.
a squad
Noted
known
in
as
there
the
that I,
5150
administered,
crew. These are their
some pain
stories.
Okay. Did you treat Lang Buddha on March 18th, 2020?
I did.
Approximately how long was it in between your treatment of Jack Ripley and your
Yo,
treatment
Colonel,
of
thank
Lang
you for
Buddha?
the $5, baby.
I'm gonna say about 15 to 25 minutes roughly. It was sort of hectic. We had to move, about 15 to 25 minutes.
Okay. How long would it take for the side effects of surgery-grade amnesia to wear off?
Probably roughly 30, 45 minutes.
Okay. Has Lang Buddha sought any follow-on treatment for his injuries?
Not with me, so I can't speak for anybody else, but not with me personally.
Okay. Can you determine maximum medical improvement without follow-on appointments?
No.
The motherfucker's the worst
how many
trick taker in
times
the
was Lang
city.
Buddha
I
stabbed?
fucking barely see this guy.
2 to 3 to the abdomen and 1 to the hamstring.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Plaintiff.
All right, just a few more for you, Doctor. So your testimony today is you do not remember if Jack Ripley was administered
No, they got $5. Leave it
pain
there,
medication
please.
during his
Thank you.
treatment. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, I do not recall if I did administer it or not. Like I said, I usually would put it in my notes or my medical report if I did.
All right. And the defense brought up surgery grade amnesia. Can you explain that for the court? Like what is surgery grade amnesia?
Basically, the amount of time it takes for your brain to recover from the after effects of being under for surgery, sedation, I guess.
All right. In your experience as a medical practitioner, do individuals who are suffering from surgery grade amnesia, are they prone to violent outbursts?
I am not aware of this. Not my specialty. I've not occurred to me at all, or not happened to me. So I'm not 100% sure, honestly, how to answer that.
I think you've answered it perfectly, Doctor. And one final question: would it be standard practice then to have the individual who is submitted to surgery to remain
Guys, we're playing a doctor.
in
A bit
bed
chill.
for 45 minutes?
He's clearly nervous too.
It was a sort of a tough situation.
In front of a lot of
really
eyes, guys.
probably
Come on.
Remained in bed, but he was handcuffed, so it was a little uncomfortable. So we stood him up. Then I asked him if he'd rather stay in the ER or the hallway, and he suggested the hallway to stay out of the way in case anything other patients came in.
All right, no further questions for this witness, Your Honor. Thank you, Doctor.
Mr. Splainer?
I have no questions for redirect, Your Honor.
All right, Doctor, you may step down at this time. Mr. Splainer, do you have any other witnesses you'd like to call?
No, Your Honor. At this time, the plaintiff or the defense rests. Excuse me.
All right. Do both parties need time to prepare for a closing?
Just a short amount of time, Your Honor.
5 minutes, Your Honor.
5 minutes? All right. I'll go ahead and put the court in recess for 5 minutes. Can someone check Eugene's pulse as well?
Well, I'm right. I'm fine.
I think we have a doctor for
My
that.
legs don't work. I'm
I
not
keep
dead.
forgetting Eugene's right there, dude.
Make sure you're okay, right?
Quite the shame, Eugene. If someone
What?
I'm about to be a millionaire, boys. I'm about to be a fucking millionaire.
Dennis, this judge just said he'd be ashamed if he pushed me off a
This
cliff.
fucking lawyer is good, man.
I don't think he said
He's
that.
threatening me. You
Oh, I
fucking
didn't-
lying,
I didn't
DOC
hear
fuck.
that.
Shut the fuck up, Scuffed Slim.
Oh, that's just rude.
Or no, I'm all right.
The quietest I've heard Eugene, to be honest. True. Where did my lawyers go? Oh. You're not sure which way this will go? Dude, the cops literally proposed no argument. We won. It's just a matter of how much. Hey, who was that motherfucker coughing in the back?
I have
That
no
was,
idea. I
one
didn't
of
see
the
him.
cops,
He was
I
wearing a gray hoodie and a face mask.
He's wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a
Hey,
shotgun on my bike if anybody wants it.
I thought someone was ill in the back.
Hey, come over here. Let me show you some.
Like a bunch of plastic in this guy.
Black tie would look way better with that courtesy.
So these were all over the floor, and I got rid of them.
What?
It's like if you find the white tie, there's like a white.
I just
skin
thought you
tie,
should know.
and it's like the third texture of the white skin tie.
And not to freak you out or anything, the case is going
That was
great.
stranger. That was fucking stranger. That was fucking stranger. That was stranger. That was fucking stranger. That was fucking stranger.
I know, but I got the notes early. I don't think anyone else saw them. Besides Denzel and Sab.
Okay, we just need to act calm, cool, collect.
Yeah, calm. There could also be more around the area that I haven't seen.
It's okay.
Yeah, I love this little outfit I made.
Gonna
Yeah,
lie, guys.
that's why I love rolling around.
Just
in
start
outfits
rolling
like
around
this.
in suits. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I got my
honestly.
Miami Vice jacket.
All 6 of our outfits would be great for Tommy guns. I'm just telling
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Like, you come around the
Ah,
corner,
back in the old days, town. Remember?
LMG, baby. Fucking Tommy gun.
Fuck you, you
Oh,
drunk
hell
fuck.
yeah.
So, what are we gonna do with your money when you win?
Probably buy the
Buy
Lamborghini.
another car.
Lamborghini.
Wow.
Didn't you buy
LB
the
do need
NSX?
some tanks, bro.
Yeah,
Alright?
you should see this
Every gang
Lamborghini.
has a tank. We need
Exactly.
tanks.
bro. We need a fucking
Lambo?
Warmobile.
I wanna get a livery for a car that says the smaller the window, the smaller your penis.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Oh
That's
shit.
pretty good.
Sorry, guys.
You got any
Wait,
extras?
what you doing, Sam?
No.
Yo, Branko, give me the $5. Log
Fucking
dog,
alcohol.
worst mod. Logger dog, worst mod here. Okay, dude. I don't know if that's a troll or not. Fuck you. Guys, Twitch Prime, guys. We're literally at 51 subs. 51 subs, guys.
Things don't work. All right. Excuse me.
Larry's got coronavirus. $1,000 car.
Oh.
But he can't
So
use
to remind everybody that
It's all right, I'll
social
just-
is
no, I'll
true.
set
I
up
gotta
some
pee.
hand
Yo, why check?
control.
Give me the 5. Get the
Fuck
fuck
up 6 feet. So do you use like a stick or something?
No, I'll set up hand controls. They put the accelerator
I
on
mean,
the. Never seen
your
it where they
disease
set up
is
hand
unwanted.
controls for a vehicle.
Oh yeah.
Pretty wheelchairs drive all the time.
Well, that attitude, you never
Sounds
become a
legit.
real cop.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is
I
hand
mean,
control.
did you get a minivan?
Why not just make it self-driving?
fuck?
What have you done for him?
Yes, let's just go into the future and create full autonomous vehicles,
Yeah.
shall we?
I mean, there's already self-driving cars. They're already here.
True, he's free now, isn't he?
They're not that good, all right, homie?
I mean, they're pretty good.
No, we must
Pepe?
reach level 5 autonomy before they can drive you on your
Need any
own.
water, food, Mr. Buddha?
You need to be able to control the vehicle. You need to be able to control the vehicle yourself, in case of an emergency.
I mean, but to be fair, a car would be able to handle it better than we would, computer-wise. I mean, they'd be able to handle situations faster than a human brain would.
Relevant to this?
To be fair, I already have a car that has no engine.
Oh.
My Porsche has no engine.
I'm good.
What the hell?
I'm cruising
It's
right
weird.
along.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cruising right along.
The judge is back.
Yeah, because you never know. Someone might just come up and try to.
Unless you need to jump.
Yeah, not Lang or any of them. But
Whoa,
you never know.
you bringing up Diaz for?
Copper!
Oh.
Make sure you tell my wife, Claire Copper, that we're married now, all right? Make sure
yeah,
you tell
sure.
Claire. Make sure you rub it right in her fucking smug little face, all right?
What am I rubbing in her face?
All right, Eugene, you are no longer LBA for getting married to a cop. Sorry, man.
What? It's not real, butter.
We're
You want
sorry.
me to beat her up?
Yeah, you can beat her up if you want.
I hit
Trying to-
women. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
fuck
lie.
her up. I
I
hit
beat
her
the
too.
shit out of
Don't
women all
worry.
the time.
Don't worry, I hit her as well.
Okay.
Mr. Bailiff.
I don't know how I feel about that.
She, what do you mean? She won't go away. I'm trying to divorce her, and she refuses to let me divorce her.
Okay.
She refuses.
Are you being
Chloe
held
don't want to
hostage,
divorce you?
Eugene?
I am. I think I'm being held hostage by Claire, my wife.
What the fuck, dude? Dude, someone gave me a bunch of
Who's the man
I
with
think
the
she's
throw in
committing
the back?
squatter's rights on my person.
a squatter's rights.
Yeah, you know how a squatter
She's
goes
squatting
into a
on you?
house, and I think so. I think she's squatting on me.
What the fuck, dude? Okay, Eugene, I need you to look at me, okay?
Oh.
Blink twice if you want me to get rid of her.
Oh, are they outside? Okay.
Okay.
Here they.
Yo, Hustle, brother, you with 5 gifted.
Okay,
313,
I
thank you
got
with the
you.
Prime, boys.
Don't worry,
5169
babe.
subs.
I'll give him a few minutes.
Eugene, you're no longer LBA. Sorry, man. It's official. You're no longer LBA. I'm sorry.
I'm full lean boy.
No, you're back to whatever you were before. We cannot
Wait,
have a
fuck-
cop
fuck you,
be
brother.
related to us, man. My apologies.
Fuck you. It's a fake. It's a fake marriage, you dimwit.
Fake or real, real or fake?
Oh, yep. All right, what happens in court stays in court.
It's all public
Mhm.
record, Eugene.
You're a
Really,
public
Eugene?
record.
Gotcha there.
True.
You're a fucking broken record.
All right, give me one more moment, please. Having a technical issue.
Wait, oh my god, Hustlebird gifted 15 subs.
No
Not
worries, Your Honor. I
5.
think
I'm
we're still waiting
stupid.
on,
Oh my god, Hustle,
Mr.
thank
Buddha
you,
to
dude.
get the memo anyway.
Oh, I'm all good.
What's that? I thought I saw him like 2 seconds ago.
What's happening?
Where'd you see him at?
Me? Hello?
Oh,
I'm right here.
oh my god.
Sorry, right here. Hustle, thank you, man. I appreciate you, dude. Guys, thank you guys for all the subs today. We got so many gifted subs today. It was insane. Guys, it better be over $250,000. I'm a mauled.
Hey, Denzel.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to pass a law here in the courtroom. If you throw up gang signs, we'll take you in the back and remove your fingers.
Oh.
Or we'll also hold you at contempt and throw you in prison for 5 years. Either or, it's up to you.
Shit.
He's doing voodoo magic on him in the back, kind of curing his symptoms. You don't see that?
Just put him on the
He's
list,
kind
bro.
of got like the jazz.
Pretty sure it's an
I'll take 5
expression of
years.
Judge
religion.
Coyote, can we actually talk about something after the case while we're waiting?
I mean, I'm straight, but all right.
Well, I got a boyfriend, so it's okay.
Oh, this is all weird.
No,
Yeah.
Wait, so,
Me and
someone's willing to
Rhodes.
date you? You have someone actually willing to
Yeah, I
date
talked to you.
Wait, you're with Rhodes?
No.
The fuck? Hey, good luck fighting dark with that one, bro.
Hey, Rhodes, I'd suck a dick. Just saying.
You rip that, Judge, am I right?
I was memeing, please.
All right,
fucking
we,
city's like a
we're
season
all
of The
prepared
Walking
now.
Dead, I'm telling you.
Everybody
Yes, sir.
good?
Yes, Yes, Your Honor.
All right, plaintiff, you can begin with your closing.
Thank you, Your Honor, and may it please the court. The defendant herein has attempted to justify and rectify these actions. They've attempted to relate the stabbing of Mr. Buddha to an incident which occurred previously, with very little proof or evidence outside of voice recognition and conjecture based on clothing. Further, they've missed entirely that even if these incidents were related, it would in no way justify a uniformed police officer, someone trusted to uphold the law and security of this state, stabbing and attempting to murder an incapacitated, shackled, and defenseless citizen. Further, the defense in no way has explained the culpability of the Los Santos Police Department, who is also a named defendant herein, as to why Officer Ripley, who was allegedly uniformed and clocked out, was not escorted off duty or not removed from the scene, or was not offered any sort of help or any such things. This is, at the very best, a case of an overworked and overstressed police officer who was allegedly involved in a traumatic experience prior to the underlying incident, and was then left by his fellow police officers for a period of 20 to 25 minutes shackled, who was not interviewed by his superiors, was not taken off duty, and was left with a knife on his person despite the mental implications of what he may or may not have gone through. An officer who then removed that knife from his person, rushed at Lang Buddha, and was allowed to stab him 3 times before being apprehended by any of the police officers in the ward. However, Officer Ripley has testified that he suffered a, quote, stress-induced panic attack. Conveniently, that panic attack seems to have affected only his memory of the events that occurred insofar as stabbing Mr. Lang Buddha. He remembers with perfect clarity the plaintiff's alleged involvement in quote, one of the most stressful incidents of his career. He ascribes this memory loss
Holy
to treatment he
shit.
received at Pillbox Medical Center, but provides absolutely no evidence of any drugs that were consumed or administered during that treatment, or the side effects therefrom. The plaintiff asserts that under these circumstances, had defendant Ripley not been a uniformed police officer, he would have been charged with attempted murder almost immediately. The intentional actions have caused
Spam
Mr.
a link to
Buddha
this guy's
extreme
channel.
and
Go
to
show
a
this
cer-
motherfucker
to a
some
degree,
love, chat.
probably permanent injuries.
Please, hard
Testimony
spam, hard
and evidence
spam.
reflect that Mr. Buddha suffered serious injuries to his lung and liver.
Let the mods do it. Let the mods do
wound
it.
to his left hamstring, as testified by the doctor, stands a 50% higher risk of a re-injury. Mr. Buddha has testified that he has difficulties in his daily living, his inability to work, and his inability to even walk, smoke cigarettes, or drink alcohol to his pleasure. He's further testified that he is unable to earn his legal income through his contracting as a janitor, losing so much as $50,000 to $100,000 so far, not including any future loss of income due to his ongoing injuries. The plaintiff asserts that they have proven gross negligence herein through the direct actions of Officer Ripley. Accordingly, the plaintiff requests that this court find that it is proven beyond a preponderance of the evidence that defendants have acted with gross negligence and ascertained damages in the sum of $1 million or more. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Jesus fucking
Mr.
Christ,
Plaintiff.
you're the best lawyer I've ever
Yes, Your
seen
Honor.
in all of my fucking years in this fucking city.
Your Honor, people of the court, on March 18th, 2020,
I
Officer
do my
Jack
best.
Ripley was under a tremendous amount of strain. Strain and stress that comes from being an officer in this violent city. Stress that came from Jack Ripley being cornered by the plaintiff, captured against his will, and gunned down in cold blood as he pleaded for his life by the plaintiff who was filing this complaint. Jack Ripley
No
was then further
proof.
subjected to perception-altering painkillers, subject to ridicule and handcuffs for minutes after his treatment. Like any man, he had a psychotic break which had been diagnosed by his licensed therapist, and which he was forced to seek and had received treatment from Parsons Medical Center. Your Honor, the plaintiff never filed for general damages for pain and suffering, special damages for medical bills, compensatory damages for wages lost because they cannot sustain them. They do not exist. The plaintiff only filed for punitive damages as if to salt the wound in which they created the stress, pain,
No
and suffering
proof.
that Officer Ripley was subjected to that led him to this mental breakdown. A breakdown in which he was forced to seek treatment from the plaintiff kidnapping him, shooting him down. And the plaintiff expects to prove that Officer Ripley attacked the plaintiff with a sane mind out of malice to justify these punitive damages, while Jack Ripley himself was still recovering from his own wounds, which the doctor testified today. These wounds were suffered by the plaintiff, as positively identified by 2 officers' testimony, a man in overalls and a bird mask, as stated by Officer Jack Ripley, who identified his attacker, and Officer Matt Rhodes, who identified whom he had arrested. The plaintiff seeks to exaggerate their medical injuries for the maximum claim possible, while never seeking follow-on medical treatment to record for their injuries that the doctor testified would be life-altering if not treated through follow-on assessments. 0 follow-on physical therapy to record. No psychological treatment to record. Your Honor, if the plaintiff is submitting damages relevant to these injuries, wouldn't their ongoing record of the plaintiff seeking medical treatment to resolve his medical injuries and assess his own psychological trauma be submitted into record for his own
He has
well-being?
no idea if that's happening.
And
This
would
guy's
this
stupid.
seeking of treatment be before or after his immediate return to a criminal lifestyle in which he had full-on fled from police in multiple instances?
Yeah,
If the
they
plaintiff
offered
had
no
any
evidence about it.
substance
Don't
to
worry
these
about it.
claims, they would be submitted as tangible evidence. The compensatory damages would have been amended appropriately. Your Honor, the District Attorney's Office requests that you see this case for what it is, that you consider the evidence presented to you today, and that you deny the plaintiff's
Which was
claims
none,
against
bitch.
damages for a situation in which they formulated by their own criminal actions. They pushed an officer until he broke, as any man would.
What kind of
and
pussy
expect
breaks
to
under
get
pressure if you're a
fat payout
cop?
from the state by claiming a man subject to so much torment and under the effect of mind-altering painkillers post-surgery, life-saving surgery, could be held liable for malicious actions when he himself was in an altered state of mind. And it is with these statements, these facts to this case, we ask you to consider upon rendering your verdict for liability. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. I will now go ahead and put this court in recess. I will go to the back and go over all the evidence and come back with a ruling. If you could please, if you stay in this room, please speak amongst yourselves softly so I can consider all the evidence and have no interruptions. I do appreciate it. Or you may step outside to the lobby, or you could even go out in front of the courthouse and relax for a little bit. Court's now in recess.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
That was the weakest fucking closing I've ever seen. Explainer?
Oh,
and rip this fucking DA.
Don't forget, Mr. Buddha. He can still hold you in contempt even though it's a civil trial. Let's just wait for the verdict. I'm gonna
Alright.
step onto the front.
I better get at least 300,000, man. Or I'm gonna kill all the cops here.
Well,
Oh shit, should I get a gun?
I got one on my motorcycle.
I love you boys, man.
I can't wait to kill this DA, man.
We really
Honestly,
do feel
I
like a
don't know what's
mafia
gonna be
now. I
more
mean,
exciting,
fuck.
putting
Even look
shotgun
at
shells
Doug,
in his head or
dude.
taking his pinky.
Both.
Not true.
All right, man. You guys think I'm gonna get a lot of money or what?
oh yeah, you've got this in
fuck
the
yeah.
bag.
At least 250,000. Then I'd be happy.
Oh, minimum.
I mean, in best case, like, you know, I don't have any faith in the court system. So if it made
me
sense,
neither,
you'd have
honestly.
like $1 million for this.
I feel like you should have said something about the fact that, like, did you even get charged for any of this shit?
No, there's no proof, no
Yeah,
evidence,
I think
nothing.
your lawyer should have said some more shit about that in the closing. That's kind of all my criticism on it.
Yeah, that's the only thing, is he's trying to paint the picture that there's even no proof that I ran from police. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly, that's the thing.
And even when I do run, I limp, motherfucker. Look at me.
Right?
The fuck he calls this? This is running, a fucking idiot.
Flakes are okay. They did a white chocolate flake at one point.
I like
Hey, we gotta remove
Galaxy.
Eugene from LBA, man. He's too close to these cops. Look at this guy.
What the fuck, brother?
Look at this
Really?
motherfucker.
You see this motherfucker over there? Look at him.
Oh, need to get rid of him?
You might need to
Listen, I better
fucking
not
put him
hang
on
out
the
with
ocean,
you, 'cause I don't
man.
want your friends to hate you.
Okie dokie.
I bet he got caught today too.
Ruining my life.
Dumb motherfucker.
Oh, hey, apparently I'm not wanted for murder, by the way. I came here expecting to get put in cuffs and placed in for the
Can
night.
someone take me to my boys?
Oh, good.
I got you.
Don't touch him, Frank.
Come,
I'll
come,
cut
come,
your
come.
fucking hands off, bitch.
Come.
Push him.
Come, chop, chop.
Have
you
you
got
got
food
or bandages?
Thank you, Franco.
Yeah, I got food and bandages. You need
Frank,
Andy,
got
you're on
tight
wheelchair
ass-
duty.
Frank, you got this
What?
tight
No
ass
way.
fucking suit jacket on with these
Buddha.
large ass pants, bro.
Can't believe
listen,
you all left
okay,
me
You're
in
so
there.
cute. Look at you, bro.
Right.
Dumb motherfucker.
Sorry, Frank's the one that's gonna make me win loads of money.
Yeah, I know, but do you have an emergency contact?
Wunderbar.
I'm just trying to be
Stay the fuck away
proactive
from me, you
with my
nutcase.
thinking right now.
Who's the nutcase?
Hey, Buddha.
Gross.
Buddha's
What's
been
up,
very
Dad?
aggressive towards
I
Copper.
work with what
I'm
I
just
have.
chilling. Wanted to come show some support.
I think
Hey, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it, you know?
No worries.
Hopefully I win.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. It's pretty
yeah.
open and shut. I mean, you got stabbed.
Cursed DA.
Like, well, there's not
All
much
right.
arguing about that. You know, everyone's.
Oh, you think so?
Hey, what do
It's
you
not
think? You
your
think I'm gonna
problem why it
win?
happened.
Yeah,
I
give
can't
some
wait
of
to
this.
burn you
Step
with
up
I
my
think we
game.
will.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go
step
grab
up
my
a game.
shotgun from my
I
motorcycle.
mean,
and
there's
blow your fucking
there's
face off.
reasons that Ripley has for doing this, that, and the other, but that's irrelevant to your case. That's more applicable to his case for not getting fired. Hopefully.
They really tried to put him as a victim there. It was a good
They did.
strategy, but I don't think it worked.
I don't want to get shot,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go.
Because it doesn't matter.
myself
Wait,
somewhere.
my meth.
He still
Someone
stabbed
took
you.
my meth off me.
It's not like you were about to stab him or something.
One of those DOC took
Very
my
true.
fucking meth.
But what you end up
Who stole my
financially,
meth?
that's hard
What
to
are you
say.
doing?
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I actually get what I deserve.
House,
Stay
don't
over
make me get
there,
it.
Slainer.
I think it might set a precedent though.
I think I do.
Yeah, we'll
In
see.
my car, actually. I have a sniper rifle on this.
Splainer, you choked!
What was that, Eugene?
Wait, no, you can. What?
You choked!
Why wouldn't I?
I think I've got one in my car over there from
You
the,
choked an extra
from
large
the-
corn
from
dog.
the- From the kimchi thing. I mean, some moon event.
Choke!
Oh, okay. All right, cool. You guys have a good one.
All right.
Hey, Splainer, enjoy life.
You
You know, while it lasts and all.
So you want the sniper rifle?
What the fuck do you want, Archer? You want me to shoot you? Get the fuck out of my face.
Then I can shoot you first.
All right.
Bet you can't.
Yeah, you want a
Bet you I
sniper
could.
rifle?
Bet you can't.
All right,
Bet
let's
you
go
I
to
could.
my
You wanna
car
go to
over
court
there.
too?
What the
You
fuck?
wanna go to court? You wanna shoot me?
Yeah, well, congratulations, y'all getting it, because I definitely stood. I definitely stood away from y'all. I'm done with that.
I mean, you walked right through the entire pack of them to get.
All right, boys, let's see how much we win. There's no way we lose. We already know we won. Let's just see how much we win. Yeah, keep it in emo only as well, so chat doesn't ruin it if Labar is streaming. I don't know if he's not, if he is or not.
Wow. Wow.
Well, well, well.
Not even here to defend himself.
Hey, Booty Woody, how's your court thinking going?
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm about to win a bunch of money. Where the fuck have you been?
No.
What do you mean where I've been? The fuck, where
We
you
had a
been?
lot of shit to talk about today, man, and you weren't around.
How the fuck I was in the city for 7 hours?
Can you stop being a boomer and wake up a little later or something?
Yeah, I guess I could do that tomorrow, I suppose.
No, I'm just kidding. Just, be up later. Come on, man. Don't you like money and subs, and bits?
Who do we gotta kill tomorrow?
Listen, if you're gonna be involved in what I'm involved in, we have a lot to talk about. I'm not joking.
Is she the one who talks really monotone? mean, she seemed nice enough to me the one time that I met her, but she, she talks very flat. You looking at her through binoculars too? Because that's enough to fuck up anybody. Creepy.
Here we go, boys. I'm ready.
It's only late for some of us.
And there he stood all by himself, Mr. Buddha.
There you go.
All right. Listen, I'm hoping it's at least a couple hundred. All right, man, come on.
Couple $100 or $1,000?
1,000, man.
What are you trying to buy?
Retirement. Look at my leg.
Really? See?
That bad? You might
Yes,
want to get it looked at. I don't know if it's infected or what.
I have gotten it looked at.
Came up here.
Regardless of what that dumb fuck said or no proof, all right?
It smelled like some moldy cheese. I'm not gonna lie. You might want.
I'm sorry, man.
Okay.
That would be called MRSA. There, Dennis. Methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus.
Okay. Well, they should have had you up there as the doctor.
Too close.
I figured you'd fall for me.
Maybe when you don't sound like you were just dipping a vat of flu.
What do you mean?
Fuck Ukraine.
I did that with my mind.
Coming through.
This is my Thanos glove, bitch.
Yeah.
Snap you out of
Man,
this,
Jamie had to pick up that
millennia.
hand. Where's this?
I'm not back here, really. I can't fucking see back here.
Careful with your legs, Junior. Kicking everybody.
Fucking boob.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
Kicking everybody. Watch.
What do you mean, careful with your legs? I can't move them.
Well, Ellie, watch where you're driving them.
Mr. Zuckerberg, are you all right?
No.
He's kicking everybody back here.
Has he ever been all right?
I am not kicking people.
Okay. I mean, are you gonna be all right?
Don't know.
Okay. All right, I'll give it another moment to make sure everybody's stepped in here that wants to hear this. Okay, I will go ahead and call this court back into session at this time. After hearing all the evidence and all the testimony There's a belief in this court that Mr. Ripley knew exactly what he was doing
Ooh.
when he walked back into that operating room or the emergency room and stood over Mr. Buddha and decided to take a knife and thrust it into Mr. Buddha's body. Therefore,
Heck yeah.
I'm finding Mr. Ripley responsible for the damages that
Oh God.
Mr. Buddha incurred in this incident. Even though you want to use mental health as an excuse for wrongdoing, I don't believe it in this situation. Mr. Ripley took a knife out, as I stated, and decided to harm another member of this community, whether previously that member had done something to Mr. Ripley or not. Mr. Ripley, you are a law enforcement officer, sir, and you are held to the highest of those standards. Therefore, I'm going to award Mr. Buddha the sum of $250,000 paid
Damn.
by the state, by the Victims Relief Fund at this time. That is the order and that is the judgment of this court. This case is now
I'll
closed.
take it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm
Give Ripley
fucking
the death
rich.
penalty.
Fuck the pigs. You guys suck my dick. I'm out of here.
Death
Come
penalty
on,
for
Judge
Ripley.
Dennis. What the
Justice.
fuck?
You should make Ripley pay it.
It's from the Victims Relief
Don't
Fund. I
forget
knew he was
me.
getting the payout. I don't mind.
Don't forget me.
What do you mean forget?
Buddha should get his dog too.
Oh no, I won't forget.
No, I mean they left me behind.
Did
that guy just spit on you?
You should make Ripley pay it out of his bank account. Victim Relief Fund means nothing.
No, congrats, boy.
You're the
Must
best
make
lawyer
Ripley pay
I've
it.
ever seen in the city. Mwah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buddha.
Alright, there you go.
Does 10% sound
Oh, I
fair
need
once
to
you
go
get
to
paid?
work.
Of course. Come see me. I
Perfect.
pay you, all right? And you too, man. You guys did great. I love you guys. You guys are a retainer for me and all of my boys. As a matter of fact, you have your very next court case. Eugene right here is going to need a lot of help.
Absolutely.
You guys can talk.
Excuse me,
Let's,
lawyer. I need to hire you.
Congrats.
All right, Mr.
And
Eugene.
lady-
You got any?
It's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
You know what? They should be pressing criminal
I want to buy
charges.
one.
You know,
you buy one.
I'm $250,000 richer, and the best part of this is I get to kill Ripley myself.
And you can't see it because it's just a work hazard.
That's right, Doug. That's right.
What?